Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live, and today's episode is quite the banger. Today is going to be the last episode with David as the co-host. And so on the docket today, starting off, and I really hope you hang around for it, we have the great TikTok debate. One thing that has been a canal-sized ravine of a divide between David and I is the TikTok and American users especially involving themselves with TikTok. I'm a supporter while David vehemently stands against it. So we are going to have a formal debate, and I look to you, the audience, to be the judge to decide. And really, the way you decide is it downloaded on your phone or not? I think that's the final tally at the end of the day. But I think in a room full of wolves, because most people in this room side with David, I will bring about a strong argument. But following that, we are going to have a fun topic, one that I'm going to find very fun, which is protesters that disrupt traffic. And should we be protecting that right? And then we're going to wrap it up with a good old Thanksgiving friendly feud. So I appreciate all the folks that did the survey. It came out to be a quite large response this week, and I think we're going to have a fun cap to the night. But that being said, I can't do it without the pickle gallery over there in the wing. Let's bring in Ricky and the gang. Silent, Ricky, how you guys doing today?
We outside, y'all. Happy to be here.
Doing great. How's everybody doing today?
Hey, real good, real good. Appreciate you guys joining us. So I appreciate you guys also hanging out in the wing, because this next segment is going to be extensively David and I. So hang on tight, because I'm going to really need your insight for the protesters in the traffic segment. So that being said, I can't do it without my co-host. Well, I'm going to do it without my co-host, because this bitch moves on into next week without him. But for the last time, my good friend, David Cunningham. How you doing?
It's bittersweet. Absolutely. This is the last show, or at least the last show as we know it today, of this, of me being the co-host here. So I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to, see if we can bridge a gap between this ravine. Some would say Grand Canyon sized ravine between the two of us. And who can cross this ravine? Like, who's that guy? Randy Dangerfield? That's
I was going to say Sacagawea.
Yeah, Sacagawea. Well, I don't think she crossed the ravine. I think she
crossed the couple.
I don't think she quite got there. But Doug, where's your thoughts on this whole thing?
I'm sad to see you go. I think this is going to be a great show, though, tonight, gentlemen. I'm excited to hear you defend my views, David.
That's right.
Good luck. All right, so today's going to be, like I said, a formal style debate where we're going to give our opening position with about 15 to 20 minutes each. Then we are going to have a cross period where we get to ask each other questions. Then we will have a short rebuttal segment where we get to have about 3 to 4 minutes to say our piece. We'll have one last brief cross period, and then our conclusions. So the reason why we're going to allow this to be a little bit longer of a debate, normally the openings are about 7 to 9 minutes. We're going to go about double, about 15 to 20, simply because this isn't a competitive debate where we're trying to score on being quick, concise, and score intellectual points. I think, and that's the beauty of a podcast, is having this ability to flush out the topic in its entirety. So my position is we will have the opportunity to hopefully get as close to truth as possible. And that's for you, the user. I'm not trying. This guy's wearing a clown nose, so I am not trying to convince him. But if I can compel some of you out there, then it's all worth it. So I am going to start with a 15 to 20 minute opening.
All right.
And then David will get to present his. Now, him being second, he will have an opportunity to also address some of the points that I make. Okay. So, I might not need that. The calculator might want my stopwatch. Okay. So for today's resolution, we are going to be debating resolved Americans should not use TikTok. I negate today's resolution that Americans should not use TikTok for two reasons. First, TikTok is the all-around superior platform. And secondly, these American companies that you so boldly champion don't give a shit about you or what is best for your society. So, my first contention being that TikTok is the all-around superior platform. I asked ChatGPT to provide the strongest criteria for determining the best overall platform for individual users, and it suggested the following 7 fields: user experience and interface design, privacy and data security, content diversity and inclusivity, engagement and connection, content creation and expression, impact on mental health and well-being, and community building and societal impact. So firstly, starting with user experience and interface design. For this, I consider ease of use, customization and personalization, and content discovery and relevance. TikTok provides the most open algorithm for content creators to grow and reach new audiences, while also providing the consumer with the most personal and captivating newsfeed, which lends itself to why the platform is so addictive to anyone who engages with the application. The fact that non-TikTok users settle for Instagram and their Reels because it's the best alternative they have, but will also acknowledge how archaic and misguided that algorithm is, only strengthens my point. You like one dirt biking video on Instagram, and now your entire feed is dirt bikes everywhere you look. Secondly, privacy and data security. For this, I consider data protection, security features, and anonymity and control. I have an extensive breakdown of data collection and privacy standards between both Facebook and TikTok. And while TikTok policies have their concerns, Facebook drastically dwarfs them with immoral data practices. If time allows us, I would be delighted to break this down further. My third position is that it provides content diversity and inclusivity. For this, I considered variety of content, inclusivity and representation, community guidelines, and moderation. TikTok provides the most unfettered and authentic algorithm across all other social media options. There are no two people experiencing the exact same For You page. And while there is a significant amount of mainstream overlap, for the most part, each person is being curated the strongest feed to match their interests. In regards to moderation, TikTok does a fantastic job of keeping a safe and clean platform without over-censoring and manipulating the content. TikTok has the most effective moderation policies that balance free speech with the protection from hate speech, harassment, or misinformation. The truth is able to live without coercion on TikTok, and that bold statement cannot be said about any American platform David could provide. Fourth, there is engagement and connection. For this, I consider community engagement tools, authenticity and trust, and cross-platform integration. The world is on TikTok, and if you don't join them there, it is going to leave you behind. And what strengthens this position above all is how this social media community transcends national borders. We are all experiencing each other's culture, learning from the different perspective of each other's relative news, and building a global community together. When we play the game, Are You Old Yet on this show, and you quickly realize how out of touch you are from the modern trends, just know TikTok is where they began and flourished, and you're just waiting for this to trickle down and meet you at your Reels and your Shorts. The most egregious example of this is the chill guy meme. Will and I bonded over this throughout the entire Browns game, and it was completely foreign to David. Then we explain it to him and bring him into the know. For me to log on to Instagram the next day, and David sent me a chill guy meme. So you are only in the know about the hottest trend on the internet right now, not because of Instagram keeping you in the loop, but because your millennial friends on TikTok exposed you to it, and you were able to corral it into your algorithm manually on Instagram. My fifth position is content creation and expression. For this, I consider tools for content creators, monetization and rewards, and support for original expression. TikTok has created the most open platform for new content creators. Admittedly, they have rolled back on how much exposure you may get to new viewers, but it still supersedes anything you may find on other social media platforms. TikTok has created a world with millions of people racking in money on their TikTok live gifting system, which is not an opportunity that can be found on any other platform. But then the evolution of the TikTok shop has opened the door to significant monetization opportunities for all users. TikTok is now competing as a direct rival to Amazon due to its shipping ease, convenience, and competitive pricing, while also presenting monetization opportunities for consumers to make money themselves by promoting the products they enjoyed after buying them on TikTok. The sixth point is impact on mental health and well-being. For this, I consider encouragement of positive behavior, time management tools, and support for well-being. TikTok knows that they are so superior at keeping users engaged with their platform that they are the only platform that has embedded safety measures and time management resources into the system to protect the users. After an hour of scrolling, a video comes up to tell you to put down TikTok, go drink water, and take a break from the screens. Can my opponent name a single company that has anything like this? Additionally, an old concern that was often raised by the ignorant public was that TikTok has a different platform for Chinese users than the rest of the world, promoting education and health domestically while causing disturbance internationally by promoting propaganda and mindless content. This has been entirely debunked. Not only does TikTok have a separate news feed for science and learning, but the numbers have shown that en masse, this is almost entirely ignored by our ignoramus American public. So it's not that TikTok dances are making America dumb. It's that America is dumb. And the fully customized news feed is holding a mirror up to our society. And seventhly, and finally for this point, is community building and societal impact. For this, I consider fostering genuine communities, civic engagement and activism, and positive societal impact. Oh, and also addressing misinformation and fake news. Finally, and most importantly, TikTok is the most transparent and free broadcast of information and news. Beyond Doug, I am by far the most up-to-date on the daily trending news, and I attribute it entirely to TikTok because it is a decentralized avenue for information. Independents are able to get the word out before the national broadcasts are able to in the later evening news or even the next morning, depending on the time. And because the source is coming from independents, they are coming from sources that lack the direct financial incentive to push an agenda or twist the facts. Plus, you get the healthy balance of all the perspectives, which no news network provides anymore. I drive this entire point home with one major example. The chemical spill in Springfield, Ohio, was only addressed by our federal government on the national stage because of TikTok and TikTok alone. The people on the ground were being gaslit as they were reporting for days that there is a chemical spill. And not only was it being ignored by bureaucrats, but also by the corporate media pushing for silence on the topic. The story gained so much momentum on TikTok with users across the country demanding action that the past president who was removed from office, Donald Trump, capitalized on this opportunity to highlight the failures of the media and the bureaucrats who represent us by going to Springfield, Ohio, and reaching the people directly. It was this move by Trump that compelled our Nancy Secretary of Transportation to get out of the male birthing hospital bed and go to Ohio and take care of the people. Now, the government did nothing and still left the people of Ohio out to dry. but at least it couldn't be ignored anymore, which was the status quo for information distribution until TikTok. This kind of sounds like a recent story in Ohio where the lovely tropical folks are eating the neighbor's cats, but that's a story for another day. Now, my second and final point is how these American companies that you so boldly champion don't give a shit about you or what is best for your society. The point that TikTok should be avoided solely because it is a Chinese-owned company is severely flawed when considering the broader landscape of global tech companies, especially those in the United States. The argument against TikTok, based purely on its ownership structure, overlooks several critical issues. For these, I have 6. Firstly, corporate priorities are globally aligned with profit, not national loyalty. Go ahead and ask the NBA. The core function of any corporation, whether based in the United States, China, or anywhere else, is to maximize profit for shareholders. This means that regardless of where a company is headquartered, its primary loyalty lies with its stock price and its financial performance. American tech giants like Facebook, Google, and Apple are not inherently more dedicated to the well-being of their users than TikTok simply because they are American. These companies have repeatedly demonstrated that user privacy, safety, and well-being can be compromised if it benefits the bottom line. For instance, Facebook has numerous scandals, which I have an extensive list on reserve if we need to reference it. Google also has a history of controversial privacy practices, such as gathering data from users without their explicit consent. This further exemplifies how the United States-based tech companies often prioritize financial gain over ethical considerations. Apple has also been critiqued for labor practices and for locking customers into its ecosystem primarily to increase profits. So if anything, while you look at those companies as proud pillars of American society, those companies only look at you and the rest of your community as cattle waiting to be milked. Secondly, government influence and corporate control. In the United States, many social media platforms have operated in an environment where government contracts and lobbying efforts directly influence the company's operations. Facebook, for example, has received significant government contracts and has been accused by themselves of cooperating with intelligence agencies. The United States government's close relationship with these tech companies suggests that national loyalty is less of a priority than ensuring these platforms align with government interests or benefit from government spending. This creates a scenario where the interests of the public are not always at the forefront, if at all, as government influence can actually affect platform policies. Thirdly, data privacy and user exploitation are universal problems. The concern about data privacy, exploitation, and the manipulation of user behavior are not unique to Chinese companies. U.S. tech companies have long been under scrutiny for how they collect and use personal data. The massive data mining operations that underline platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Google are designed to optimize profit by selling users' information to advertisers. In many ways, American tech giants have pioneered the invasive business model that TikTok and others now follow. Hence, concerns about privacy, surveillance, and manipulation of personal data should apply equally to all companies, regardless of the country of origin. Fourthly, the patriotic argument doesn't address systemic issues. Arguing that an American company is inherently safer or more ethical because it's American ignores the broader systemic problems inherently in all social media companies. The vast majority of social media platforms operate with a business model that places users in a secondary position. Users are the products, not the customers. TikTok's Chinese ownership is often presented as a moral issue, but the broader question of corporate ethics, data privacy, and user exploitation applies universally across borders. Furthermore, TikTok's booming success is a direct reflection on how they prioritize the consumer over bureaucrats, which is also possibly an explanation for why it is only the bureaucrats that voice a concern with TikTok and not anybody who engages with the platform itself. Choosing platforms based on national origin distracts from the more important issue, which is corporate accountability and the need for regulation in the tech industry. Fifthly, globalization of tech. In a globalized digital landscape, the question of where a company is headquartered becomes less relevant. Many tech companies have global user bases, and the dynamics of global commerce and data flow make national borders less significant when it comes to digital interaction. The internet doesn't operate according to national lines, and companies from various countries leverage international users for profit, often with little regard for national interests or privacy protections. Do you really believe in this landscape they care about the color of the flag they pay their taxes to? Finally, we want to focus on holding companies accountable, not where they are based. Rather than shunning TikTok or any other platform based purely on their country of origin, or a more constructive approach would be to push a stronger regulation and accountability across the board, there needs to be a push for international frameworks that prioritize user safety, privacy, and autonomy without favoring one country's company over another's. Holding all companies to the same ethical privacy standards is more important than focusing on national origin. In conclusion, the argument against TikTok based on its Chinese ownership is weak because it overlooks the broader, more systemic issues in the global tech landscape. Whether a company is American, Chinese, or based elsewhere, the focus should be on holding these companies accountable for ethical practices, privacy, and the impact they have on users. None of which you can cast any of these violations on TikTok. We have a track record of experiencing it with these other platforms. The loyalty of a user to an American company should not cloud the fact that American tech giants have often prioritized profit over public interest, just as any global tech company would. Instead of focusing on nationality, it is far more important to critically examine the practices of all social media companies and demand better regulation and transparency from all the platforms, regardless of where they are based. And if China mining my data is such a concern for you, then demand more from Facebook and Twitter as to make them meet the higher standard and compete in the free market, rather than eliminating the competitive platform altogether like a mafioso. And now I pass it to you.
You pass it to me? Okay. You had some good points there. I cannot lie. But we do have, I have a kind of a three-legged stool approach to my arguments here.
Wobbly.
The addiction of delivery, the enshittification of the internet, and data and privacy, a bit more simply. Let's start with the last spot first, since I think it's probably going to be more relevant to your closing case. So, data and privacy. Yes, TikTok is owned by a Chinese conglomerate, and there is some issues in which that can be derived from the inherent ownership of that. But I think my broader issue to start with is this is yet another social media app that we as a society have to download to stay up with various trends, various things going on, you know, your favorite celebrity. You have different content that is only exclusive through that app. And if there is something that is of within your niche that is on that app, well, guess what? You're there. That is yet another app I have to download. That is yet another source of my privacy and data being breached, along with, as you eloquently put, all of my other social media apps in which I do participate in. However, with that collection, they do collect as much, if not more data, but they don't necessarily do it regularly. It's not quite the same as the way Facebook does it, Instagram does it, Twitter, YouTube. However, The problem with this specific method of data collection is within the terms of service, TikTok does have, they send crawlers throughout all the websites in which you visit, all the apps in which you visit, and then they get access to that particular set of data. Also, there is within the terms of service a key logger in which it logs whatever you're typing down. That's not necessarily unique to TikTok, but where it gets a bit more crazy is it does have a Trojan horse in a part of that code. So it's allowed to put different code on your phone, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to use it right away, but it can use it within the future as it sees fit within new features that come out. That is specific and unique to TikTok in itself. And I'm sure other social media companies are going to copy this and use this same method. So with it being a pioneer in the space and its popularity approaching critical mass, definitely has an issue, definitely does raise concern with that very specific type of data logging. But going back to some of the other points here with data and privacy, so the Chinese aspect of it, it's not inherent to China, it's inherent to a hostile foreign government. It is a cybersecurity risk. Because we can load code, there is Trojan horse ability within the download of that app. They do have the opportunity to influence opinion since it is algorithmically controlled. It lives and dies by that algorithm. They have the opportunity to influence, and because it is controlled by a hostile foreign government, there is opportunities for that control to be enacted amongst any country it deems fit. Not necessarily the United States, but within any other country that uses the app in itself. So just because it is, and excuse me here, because it is a Chinese company, we cannot hold it accountable in the same way we can hold other American companies. We cannot necessarily hold it to, you go to the United States Supreme Court, or not Supreme Court, to Congress, to the Senate. Hearings of that nature aren't necessarily as effective because this is owned by a foreign national. It can't just, doesn't have the same type of data protections, doesn't quite have the same type of law-abiding citizenship that we would have with our particular on-soil American companies. Also, IP infringement. As we've seen a track record with the Chinese, they're not necessarily careful about copying and using our own intellectual property, our own code, our own unique aspects of these, popular media, pop culture, music, what have you. You just kind of ignore that. So the more we allow this type of company with this type of influence over the American people to come through, the more it's allowed to assert its control within its IP enforcement, and which is very favorable to the Chinese government and Chinese companies in itself. And then finally, on the data privacy end of things, the China in itself is very protective of its own companies, and it's very hostile towards any foreign companies coming in. Why should we allow the same, why should we allow with open arms when the country in itself is not allowing our apps, our entertainment in within its open arms? We're not playing by the same rules. It's apples to oranges on how the rules they enforce there versus the rules we enforce here, and we're much more favorable with the Chinese app than they are to the American apps. All right, I'm going to move on to my second point here: the addiction of delivery. Due to the short form nature and the algorithmically controlled aspect of TikTok, there is just a degradation of society through the short form content that was popularized and really mainstreamed by TikTok. It wasn't started by TikTok, but it was definitely popularized. So we're going to start with a dumbing down of society. I think we can point to TikTok dances, TikTok cringe. There is several different aspects of this app that encourage very rapid snack behavior, ADHD mentality. It's quick in, quick out constantly. It is an overstimulation of the senses, and when we get overstimulated, we're looking for the very quick and easy hit, quick and easy hit, quick and easy hit. we're no longer we're getting addicted to this method of delivery. It's in a sense, it's like gambling. It's like slot machines. You just, number go up, things spin, colors go. It is, and due to the popularity of this app, it's encroaching on several different aspects of just media in general. So I want to go into the youth, the children of our society. Social media, not great for children. Never has been, and it never will be. So the more addictive we can make an app, or more addictive an app can be with its algorithm, and its whole sole purpose is to keep you on said app, we are now allowing yet another avenue for children to just be dumbed down, get brain rot. Skibbity toilet riz is a bit of a TikTok thing. And I think we need less of that and more of anything else, literally anything else. But again, due to just the way the nature of this app operates, it is encroaching on your mind. It's quick, it's easy, it's junk food. It is, social media in itself is junk food, but this is the refined essence of junk food. And what we're starting to see as well is there is the app in itself, you're not necessarily making content. The algorithm is the content for the app. There's a reason why TikTok trends are things. It's all over your feed, all over your app. It might be in your specific niche, but boy, this niche is chasing this trend all sorts in all sorts of different aspects of your viewing nature. Unlike YouTube, unlike some of these other social media sites where the follow, the subscribe, the come to my channel and be a part of what I have to offer, that isn't quite the same with TikTok. I believe the search is fairly lousy in that regard. If you're trying to search for something try to search for a very specific TikTok that isn't like a virality TikTok. Well, I want to see this creator do this specific trend. You really can't find it other than just looking up the creator and just scrolling through. There is no just specific search like YouTube, Google, and even Twitter, very good with search. They allow you to find the very specific thing you're looking for, but that's due to the nature of the app and how it is utilized and how we interact with it. Also, you can't share content with people who don't have an account with TikTok. Yeah, I don't mind watching a TikTok video every now and then, but I don't really want to download the app. But if you send it to me so we can, I want to see what's going on with this chill guy here, which on a video-based platform, chill guy is a picture meme. So just want to put that right there. It's very difficult to share this. So I have to download the app and interact with it. Twitter started doing that when Elon took over at X, stopped doing that. It's not a useful method of being able to share. The sharing method of social media is very important. I can share with you a Facebook video, a Facebook post, and you're allowed to see it because it is quasi open to the public without downloading the very specific app that you have on your phone. It drives you to that app to, again, through its addictive nature of its algorithm, to keep you on there. So again, and the content is with it being algorithmically controlled. Who is controlling the algorithm? Where is this coming from? We see a lot of these algorithms start to blend in with trends, with how whatever's going viral, people copy that and move on, and eventually it starts encroaching onto whatever niche and hobby you have. I'm into motorcycles. Eventually I'm seeing the chill guy meme, or I'm seeing something very unfamiliar with that regard based on some very immutable characteristic that I looked at for one very specific video. It likes to catch on to trends a little too quickly. It's not slow enough to let you immerse yourself in the content you're looking at. It's very specific, and it wants to keep you driving to the next thing. So finally, I'm going to end with enshittification of the internet. I have a couple different points here. Due to the trend-chasing nature of this app, other companies are also starting to follow suit. The internet as a platform is very winner-take-all. Although there's a lot of choice and a lot of options, well, these companies seem to want to just chase each other and copy each other. That's why we start seeing stories on Instagram. We start seeing, Twitter-like threads, Blue Sky. It's copy, it's revisions. And where we Before pre-TikTok, it seemed like we were in a very nice place where I could choose if I want long form content, I can go to YouTube. If I want to see someone doing something live, I can go to Twitch, specializes in that. If I want to see someone just post a feed of very specific words, I go to Twitter. If I want to see pictures, well, I want to go to Instagram, obviously. Now, a couple of these take bits and pieces from each other. There is copying amongst all of them, but it isn't so overwhelming like we saw with TikTok, where now Instagram's just pushing reels. Well, now YouTube's just throwing these shorts out there. Now we're seeing it with Snapchat doing very similar methods. They're all chasing the same dragon. And if all companies are going to chase the exact same thing at the exact same time, we're losing the uniqueness in which these platforms base themselves on. And unfortunately, it always seems as if the person who is chasing never gets to actually be the king of the hill. We've seen this with Vimeo. We've seen this, YouTube doing its own live streaming service, which is toned down a little bit. It seems like when you're the first one to do it, you're the king of the hill and you're going to push everyone out. And I would hate to see a long-term social media company, and I do consider YouTube within that, to go under trying to chase a trend that it can't master. Everyone's zigging at the same time. No one's zagging. Moving on. The content eventually turns dumb. We can start off with very smart, very intelligent TikToks that teach you a lot of great things. Eventually, as you scroll down through that app, you're going to see half-naked women, you're going to see people falling over, or you're going to see cats. It eventually leads you down that path because us as humans, we like very basic things, very lizard brain stuff. And it isn't, you're not always chasing, well, I want to know what the next theoretical, what's the next thing in quantum physics? What's the next thing in biological engineering? It will always lead you down that rabbit hole. And part of that is due to the lack of search and the continuation of that algorithm to just move you on to the next thing. It always wants you to keep going on to the next thing. Short form content is now the new end all be all of content. And with that comes some consequences. What we've seen with music, the music industry has been grabbing hold of TikTok like you wouldn't believe. With these trends and with trend chasing inherently comes the fact that we're just designing things for trends. If we all remember Barbieheimer, now every two movies that are a little bit contrasty to each other, we got to do Saw Patrol or something of that nature, and these companies can't seem to help themselves. So when one song goes viral on TikTok, they don't necessarily understand why it goes viral. They just try to copy the same thing, and now new music is just becoming renditions of TikTok songs. We're either going to speed it up, slow it down, do different things, and it's nothing but that. We're losing the ability to be creative because all we're doing is it's an evolution of copying the last trend. NPC streams. Those are cringe as all hell. In fact, TikTok in itself is very cringy. No one's ever looked at a TikTok dance and went, oh, that's pretty cool. Always went, that's kind of cringe, but I can't stop watching. Like a train wreck, it's not good for you. It's actually quite bad for society. The more train wrecks we see, the more train wrecks we have. Just ask East Palestine. They don't like it. So the more we see of these just cringe, were we just going to turn society cringe by the amount of people chasing this content, chasing the trends? You're going to start noticing I'm doing a lot of repeating, but because TikTok likes to repeat these same things here to you, a lot of it is trend chasing. All right. And I'm going to leave on my last point here. As a content creator, I don't believe TikTok is the greatest method for you to get out to your audience. Although it has a ability to be able to give you this virality that almost no other content platform can seem to do that for you. You live or die by this algorithm, and you live or die by being featured on the For You page, because no one goes, well, you should follow me on TikTok. You'll just, even if you follow them on TikTok, you will eventually just find some other person, because you can't be specific and you can't be selective with the content you watch. It chooses it for you. So as a content creator who's trying to put together a community and put together people who want to watch me specifically or hear my voice, all I'm doing is feeding into an algorithm that's trend chasing on other voices, or other voices are trend chasing me. It's great when you start the trend, but it's not so great when you are left behind by the trend. TikTok does not pay as much as YouTube or some other social media platforms. I believe Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure you'll have your notes on there, does not pay or pays more than TikTok does. It's actually quite an awful app for paying people. YouTube, quite great at paying those who contribute to that app. I rest my case. Do you have any questions? Or
You don't want to take any of your time to address my position at all?
Oh, is that the question part here?
Well, fine.
Okay.
Huh?
All right. Is that the all right?
He rests his case.
I rest my case.
Okay. Let's take, 10 minutes to question back and forth.
Okay.
I went first, so you can ask the first question.
Okay. Let's see here. Are you concerned about the enshittification of the internet in which all platforms cater to short form content as the end all be all of content?
So wait, what's the question?
That's the question. Are you concerned?
I don't believe it's the shittification of the internet. So first, I don't. That's my answer. I don't believe it's the shittification of the internet.
Okay. Do you not have concerns with all content eventually just going to the same refined point of either TikTok dances or some sort of short form content as a long form content producer, as the both of us, that doesn't bode well for long-term podcasts, for video essays. There's definitely a trending of short attention span content.
I am not concerned of that at all.
Okay.
So now I will ask you a question. Have you ever used TikTok?
Yes.
When? You've downloaded TikTok.
I have
and
downloaded
engaged.
like way back when. Yep.
When? Year?
Oh God. Probably 2020, I think when I downloaded
Okay,
TikTok.
that would make sense because
Yep.
that's when the major wave of Americans
Yep.
had downloaded it. So that would make sense. And how long do you believe you were on there?
Maybe about a month. Probably not
Okay,
quite as long.
that's great. I can appreciate that. Are you aware that TikTok promotes beyond any other video? Like, did you know in their algorithm, if you're going to do a minute video, you're better off doing a minute and a second, 61 seconds, versus 59 seconds or 60 seconds on the dot, because TikTok promotes long platform videos beyond anything else. That's where they're trying to take it. So they have promoted 10-minute videos beyond most any other video. And that coming from the content creator side, you get really entrenched in this world. But then are you aware that the average length of a popular TikTok video in the For You page is 3 minutes?
Yep. Do you consider 3 minutes long form content or long form in relation?
I definitely think it's long
like
form,
Vine?
considering Instagram for the longest period had never had the ability to exceed 60 seconds. In fact, they didn't even decide who was a platform probably a decade longer than TikTok. They didn't decide to get to a place where they go beyond a minute until TikTok started competing in that realm. Because just like the Rethink Tank, most people would rest on the position that long form is where you get the most fruits, and you can't really get much truth or depth in a short form content.
No, I agree with that. However, the TikToks that are trending and the TikToks that are shared are very short form content.
Are you aware that TikTok is in 2024 far from the same platform it was in 2020?
Yes.
Now,
I
I'd still
am
be
aware
an
of that.
advocate.
I am.
So what are some of the changes since you're aware of it?
Some of the changes.
Yeah.
Well, they started doing live. I know that. That's where the NPC streams came in. That was a big thing. You can start paying through the NPC streams, pay with emojis or fruits or what have you. And that's what, made viral, caused a bunch of copycats, allowed people to, again, dumb down society through a very specific gaming of a system. I am aware of that. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question,
All right.
totally separate from all of this.
Okay.
Theoretically,
Theoretically.
this is just a constructual point for us, something we could ground ourselves on.
All right.
Theoretically, if I had a community where I'm selling cookies, and I choose cookies because, let's be real, go down the cookie aisle. There's hundreds of different cookies. You could get an Oreo, you could get a chocolate chip. There's really every type of brand making just that same chocolate chip. So much variety, so many options.
Correct.
And let's just say theoretically that Crumble, this isn't true. This isn't true. I do not stand by this point. But theoretically, let's say the 1 billion calories of Crumble cookie made it the greatest cookie ever. right? So let's just say there's hundreds of options of cookies in your locale, but let's just say theoretically, objectively, crumble cookie is the best. Okay, my question for you is this. Does the virtue or value of crumble cookie change at all based on how many other options there are?
It's the virtue of value. I don't know if you can put virtue on with the.
It's goodness. It's goodness compared to the measurement of cookies. Good on a scale of good to bad, crumble cookie lies the best objectively. Would it take away from its value if there were more options?
No, I don't believe it. If something is objectively the best and there's something else out there, then yes, then it is still objectively the best. Doesn't take away from it. Now, where we start coming into objective is, there's not a whole lot that's very.
We don't
objective.
have a God computer we can log into.
Exactly. So
I
that's,
could agree.
But on the premise, let's say God computer does say yes, this cookie is objectively the best, and there's a million other cookies out there. Yes. That cookie would remain the best.
That's fair. That's fair. Yes. Now, back to a different line of questioning.
Okay.
In trying to seek the best content for consumption.
Yes.
Is watching the presidential debate junk food?
No, I don't believe that to be junk food.
Would an explanation on Kant's imperative be junk food?
No, I wouldn't believe that to be, no.
Okay. Final question would be this. This being pastime exercises,
okay.
Right?
Yep.
Pastime exercises.
Yep.
So humans can go to school and that's their focus. And this is the pastime additional seasoning,
okay.
Right? If we could agree that the presidential debate is not junk food,
yep.
Explanations on sophisticated theories and writings, not junk food. Maybe some even artistic poetry, music. How much junk food, girls dancing, funny science videos of burning rubber with molten metal, whatever.
Yep.
How many of those junk food videos before the totality, throwing the baby out with bathwater, how much until the totality is soiled? So right now, if it's all presidential debates and sophisticated writing explanations, we would agree totally not junk food.
Right.
And then putting a little bit of what's MSG? Put a little bit of MSG in there to makes it taste better.
A little bit of sugar,
but it ain't gonna kill you. It's not even bad at all. Yep. But then you put a whole cup of sugar in there. Your Kool-Aid is not as good. And then mom makes Kool-Aid extra special. She puts the whole bag in. Shit tastes great. It's gonna kill you tomorrow. Yep. So how much of the junk food before the virtue is soiled?
I guess it depends on how long you're watching. So, if it's junk food, not junk food, let's call it black and white. Obviously, anything that goes over 50%, you start verging on there. Now, is it 51%? Is it 52%? I'm sure we could start debating at the necessary, but I think we can both agree that if 70% of your diet is junk food, you're not living a good life. Is 60% of your junk food, are you living a good life? Probably not. So the less junk food you are eating, theoretically, the better the life you are living.
So I want to get a feel for your interpretation of the landscape.
Okay.
So Facebook.
Yes.
More than 50% junk food, less than 50% junk food.
Well, I'd say, so I'm going to make it pretty easy for you here. Almost all of it, when it's algorithmically controlled, is mostly junk food.
So what do you point to that isn't junk food? What would you say is an idealistical standard?
So I would say
idealistic standard.
I would say news, straight up fact-based news.
Who?
I'm just saying
fact.
That's why I say fact-based news.
Yeah, who?
Yeah, there's no agenda-based news.
What? Who?
Fox News, CNN,
oh my
all of
God. They just rolled over.
Facts-based news. All right, there's a train derailed in town. Who owns the train? Where did it derail? And how long has it been derailed? And what's in the chemical cart?
And then what do we do in a world when none of them are reporting it?
Yeah, but that's not fact-based news. That's
So,
selective.
so can we
selective
agree?
reporting?
We are living in a world. Then we have to agree that we're not in that vacuum we want to theoretically live in.
Correct.
And that we have to agree then that 100% of our tapped-in sources are, by your definition, junk food, aka below the threshold of the 50-50.
No, it's algorithmic. Anything that's
So what
algorithmically
isn't?
controlled.
Can you point to one?
Point to one that isn't. Oh, if I have a independent, I trust this source that's fact based. Let's just assume we're in a vacuum in which we can.
We're not in the vacuum. Who do you use in America today?
I'd say
you look down at me for using TikTok as I boldly say it transcends everything else. I am asking you, what is the one that you say is superior to it?
Well,
because you're not sitting here in a world where you have nothing on your phone. We agree, right?
That's great.
You have platforms. So what is the one that is superior to TikTok?
Well, my argument isn't there is. It's everything else is better.
All platforms are better. However, none of them exceed the 50-50 threshold.
They all. So again, I'm very specific about algorithmically controlled. So I can pick and choose what I watch on YouTube.
Everything is algorithm. What are you? What isn't? What isn't algorithmically controlled?
You can follow anything on YouTube. I can just hit the subscribe and I can just look at subscribe. What do I have?
Oh,
here?
that's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
I'm not looking at discovery.
I have that, okay, just so you know.
Yes.
There is a follow page on TikTok.
Yep. Again, what?
But your whole thing is bottomless.
No. Based on the way TikTok delivers you content, you scroll back. Oh, there's another one right there. There's another one right there. There's another one right there. I go on YouTube. I get to watch my 10-minute video of whatever news or whatever non-junk food thing we can both agree on, and that's it. I can just leave it there. I get to be able to control the way content is introduced to me. TikTok, scroll. Yes, I can stop using it. I can just
no. You do realize there is a random news feed.
Yes. The For You page.
Just next to your followers.
Yes.
So all of the people you follow, you intimately follow, exactly like Twitter's feed.
Yep. There
is the open feed, and then there's who you follow. So this is exactly in line with the crux of YouTube or what else ever satisfies you.
Again, with the nature of that content, it keeps you engaged, keeps you moving. So once that stops, once that follow feed stops, now you're right back in.
No. That I can engage with. I will be able to refute that point. But we need to finalize this questioning. We're kind of at the max of our time.
Okay.
But I really need to flush out with you. You made in one statement that all of the platforms are junk food.
Yes.
And then I say, can you point to one that is better? And you say all of them are better.
Yes. So I get to engage with it a bit differently than I do with TikTok. Again, what makes TikTok specifically bad is the method of delivery in which it addicts you to keep going, keep moving around. All social media wants to keep you around as long as possible, but not all social media is quite as addicting as TikTok is because of that short form content, because of that short memory span, that ADHD, something new, something shiny. Okay. And now that it's where other content and other platforms, I get to choose how I engage with it. I have more agency in the way in which I control it.
All right. You get to go first. You could take up to 10 minutes to address all my points and anything that's been raised. So you can start your refutation.
All right. So when we go into American companies don't care for you, don't care about you, don't engage with you the same way. I would also point the same exact finger with any Chinese conglomerate, with any foreign company. I don't believe does Google inherently care about the way that I feel and how I use a platform and go throughout that? No. Do they care any less than a Chinese conglomerate? Probably not. Let's say maybe they might care 1% less, if that. However, I am able to hold that company accountable. I'm able. I do, since they do business or they have headquarters in the United States. Their shareholders are, for the most part, majority Ohio or United States holdings, and you are allowed to hold those accountable. Is it a tough hill to climb? Absolutely, but it is a hill I can climb. try prosecuting someone in China, it doesn't quite work the same way because the way we govern and the court system and which our rules are here are not the same in which China does their rules in violation. Again, any popular app that goes in China through the United States has the same uphill climb. So they're both where we are playing apples to apples, in which that case. But when we popularize a foreign app, Chinese app, a malevolent government that's not exactly for the people, that's when we start seeing issues of trust. And I inherently don't trust it, because all data eventually goes back to their system in China. What are they doing with the data? I'm not really sure. At least with public conglomerates, there's earning calls, and you kind of know what they're doing with the data. Okay, are they 100% truthful? Are they 100% honest? Maybe not. I'm not 100% trusting them, but I do inherently trust them more than a foreign national. Absolutely. The fact that the algorithm is better, I think the algorithm is quicker at getting you new content, new videos. It's that swiftness in which it's moving towards you. Yes, the algorithm is pretty good at understanding what you like. However, it doesn't allow you to marinate, doesn't allow you to savor. It just moves you on to the next thing you might be like. And next thing you know, you might find out you're gay, which is a little concerning. There is an epidemic of people finding out they are gay due to TikTok. If you haven't seen it, go watch TikTok. You'll eventually get there. Which there is some. I think there's something necessarily to be said about how invasive that is and how exactly they get some of that data, because it's data upon data, and the more people that use it, the better they are at turning those algorithms. So that's it. Do we necessarily want that as a society? Do I want an app to know more about me than I know about myself? I'd probably not. No, I like to live in ignorance in which I know enough about me that's pretty cool. Anyway, on to some of the other topics here. I got a little bit of time here. So the fact that the discovery, I sit here, I just don't agree with the discovery. I think we're conflating quantity of video and quantity of things you're looking at versus the quality of things you're looking at. I would venture to guess that the share versus pass-through ratio is quite high, in which you are sharing a lot less videos than you're passing through. If it's 100 to 1, that might be a pretty good. That might actually be a pretty good conversion rate, where I think it's probably going to be more like 200 to 1, 300 to 1 of anything that's quality. You see a lot of slop in TikTok. If you look at several TikTok compilations, there might be one or two within a 30-minute video that are actually worth, okay, all right, there's something there. There's some talent. And I believe these content creators that are chasing this content, it's not making better content. It's just making more content. And eventually one person's going to like it, and maybe that one person influence is good enough to get other people to just look at it. I point to like Hot to a Girl. Is that necessarily like quality content? No, it's just kind of an attractive girl that said a dirty thing, and now she's got her own podcast. So this is again, and why do we like it so much? Because we're just dumbing down America. We're just dumbing down these individuals because of this rapid form ADHD style content.
Isn't she better than the Cash Me Outside girl?
Well, at least
just keep going. I just had to.
She can. At least she can rap. Hawk 2 Girl can't rap. Listen to a Catch Me Outside girl. She can rap. She's actually decent at it. That it's
decent in other ways.
Yeah, well. But again, see, once we, but what are we basing that off of? That's off junk television. That is junk television, and that is pervasive. Once we started seeing television go to, reality television, quality of television got worse. Once we started seeing movies go into Marvel superhero movies, quality got worse. We started off high. There's always a high point, like, oh yeah, the original, original Housewives of Orange County or whatever. That was actually pretty good. First couple seasons, Big Brother, pretty good. Now we're on Big Brother like 50. We need to, at what point do we stop? As what we see with social media algorithms, we're eventually going to start off on a high point, and once we hit critical mass of market base, it gets worse. This happens with everything. If we remember early Netflix, that's all anyone ever had. It was good. There was some quality stuff on there. Now you look, it's we're just repeating the same old stuff, or we're just getting every new show is just a rendition of the last trendy show that was before it. We see this with Uber and Lyft used to be very cheap. It's very easy to get around. There's a lot of riders. Now it's not quite the same. I fear with the way we are encroaching the short form content, it's going to push out all other forms of content and then become it's gonna make all other content worse, or it's gonna make viewing this content, hey, every 2 times we're on TikTok, well, every 2 videos I get an ad, every 3 videos I get an ad. We're eventually going to hit critical mass on the point where this just all sucks all the time. And because we're just the most popular thing at the time, we're now this is now ramifications to the future. So if we stop using it now, we can stop it. We can get rid of it and we can just go back to the way things were. Is that realistic? Probably not. But if we slow it down, we're in a better spot here with more intelligent, less addiction-based content. Let's see here. Let's see my other notes. Burn time.
You don't have to burn time. If your
I'm
if
not
your
burning.
argument is that lacking, you could always just hang it up early.
So you point on your spot that in TikTok I can buy merch or I can buy shopping on TikTok, which is just another avenue for I make this parallel with like Temu. Is Temu better quality stuff than Amazon? No, it's just cheaper. So I'm just getting cheaper, worse stuff, but I get more of it. Is that better? I don't think so. Everything with TikTok's all quantity based, not quality based. There just isn't a quality person on TikTok isn't thriving as much as just some dumb fuck on TikTok that's mildly entertaining. And I don't believe that the privacy aspect of your privacy argument at TikTok just isn't. I don't believe that's the case. Yes, social media does keylog and do all these other things, but I'm going to go back to my point here where you have the Trojan horse code. Dynamic code loading is what it's specifically called. And if you get to the right person on TikTok, a foreign national, someone with major influence, you are able to blackmail. There's all sorts of different ramifications that come to that. Has some of that came to light? We haven't seen any major news stories of that yet. And I say yet. So we're not quite at critical mass of TikTok. And I believe the United States government's banning it on federal phones or banning it. But that doesn't mean your personal phones. AOC, Hunter Biden, whoever could have TikTok. All of a sudden now we're starting to get, foreign nationals coming in. We get corruption. It's an avenue for corruption. Just back to when a hostile government is in charge of this app.
Awesome.
All right.
Very well done.
On to your 10 minutes, sir.
I'm going to address my case. First, actually, what I will do is address your case.
Okay.
And then I will refute the things that you've raised about my case and then
Okay.
further my points.
All right.
So first, I just want to say in addressing your entire position, the affirmation of the resolution, which again is Americans should not use TikTok, that entire position rests on ignorance. And through questioning, what I wanted to highlight is how little David's engagement is with this platform. And so a couple Reddit comments does not truly build an argument for him. So looking at TikTok itself, I asked you how much have you used that platform. To my surprise, you actually have used it, but it was only to the extent at which you used it for a month, at a point at which the application was still at its infancy, at least in relevance to, or in relativity to how it evolved. It is so much further beyond what it was in 2020. However, I would still stand by the point that it had immense virtue and value at that point too. That point being, and I don't want to just belabor this point, so I hope not to have to mention it too many times as we close this debate out, but I want to reiterate that it's not that TikTok dances are making America dumb, which again, this point my opponent failed to address entirely, but it's that America is dumb We acknowledge that on a weekly basis on this damn show. And the fully customized news feed is only holding a mirror up to the reality of our society. That is the truth, because I know wholeheartedly what I'm getting out of TikTok is very different than many, not most. And truthfully, you'd be surprised how many people have made a career out of simply curating and or creating educational content. So that's all they are doing. Like your news feed, we'll get to the points as we did in questioning about how much junk food needs to be in a virtuous news feed for it to be thrown away entirely. And I would agree, my gut leans on that 50-50 balance. The second it becomes majority junk food, it's majority bad for you and you should be getting rid of it. And I am wholeheartedly making the position that your whole argument is coming from a place of ignorance when it says that TikTok itself is mining or creating dumb minds, because it shows that you haven't engaged in the platform since it was, admittedly, it was just TikTok songs and dances. But another point that strengthens the value of TikTok is how record labels have lost all of their power, where they used to have a total monopoly over an industry. You had raised, and I wrote it down, I was appreciative that you reminded me, that TikTok has become kind of like the head honcho in the marketing, in the music industry. And now record labels that have dominated the industry have to bend the knee to TikTok to play ball and keep relevant in the young minds of America. You bring up how TikTok is the shitification of the internet and that everything is becoming short videos. And then you continue to double down on that throughout your whole argument. Really, it is your whole argument. And the truth is, I just flat out disagree. You have nothing to support your position beyond a fantastical imaginary animal you created in your head. Your envision of TikTok is equivalent and or as tangible as a unicorn, because it literally isn't real. TikTok is predominantly 10-minute videos, 5-minute videos. Oftentimes, you will never get a video off the ground if it's 15 seconds anymore, simply because TikTok, like YouTube and the other platforms you have raised, their whole goal is to keep you there. And if I'm moving you to the next video every 15 seconds, that means I'm opening the door for the potential of you to escape every 15 seconds. So like any other brilliant social media conglomerate that's trying to keep you glued there, they have also evolved into a place where most of their content is extensive. And you came back with me and said, what, you say 3 minutes is a lot of time? I would say 3 minutes is a lot of time when I compare it to the entire industry that preceded it. TikTok is only the biggest platform in the world because it's filling a hole that the entire community adopted, which was Vine. And they didn't exceed 6 seconds. So the same shitification you pride yourself on probably was on your phone. And even if it wasn't, it doesn't take away from the value of Vine, because it was the biggest platform, period, because it still holds that place in people's hearts, and it hasn't existed in their pocket for a decade. So the point is moot when every single, you can't, but beyond YouTube, because I'll give you YouTube, but YouTube is shit. Hence why it isn't even a part of our conversation. Yeah, take that to the algorithm. I'm already in jail, so take it, YouTube. But I only say, notice how YouTube hasn't even been a part of the conversation beyond you pointing to it for long form. I'm telling you, you don't go and watch YouTube videos. You might need a YouTube video to figure out how to fix your wash machine, but you scoff when Kill Tony's on when we come in. I'm telling you, that's a 3-hour video. So I will admit, there is another platform where you could find long form media. Truly, the thing that catches my heart more than anything is Twitter, because that is the most unfettered now. It seems like a free platform, and you can find almost all content that you're looking for. But what you criticize TikTok for is a mindless ADD platform where you just keep scrolling through nothingness. But it has a special place in your heart because it can be algorithmically curated by you. They are your followers. However, TikTok is the exact same, where I can have a page of only my followers, and I could toggle back and forth between that and the random news feed. Why this is more virtuous over Instagram or Twitter is because Twitter, I can't have a raw, naked feed of just my people. I can have a feed that's predominantly the people I follow, but it's got a lot of people that I also don't follow. Instagram did the most deceptive, most devious thing a platform could do, which was they moved away from the timeline news feed, which allowed you to see everything you follow in order. You could catch up or go back to, and it would tell you you're all caught up for the last 3 days. Then they got rid of timeline and just made it curated. And then it slowly evolved to a point where you're seeing about half of the videos, pictures, and images of the people you follow. And more than anything, you're getting sponsored people you don't even follow. And on Instagram, there's nowhere for you to go find a raw feed of just your folks. And Instagram needs to be the crux of this debate because Instagram is the closest competitor as an alternative to TikTok. And they just drop the ball, come nowhere close to it. If we can manage an entire company in its inception through Instagram, folks in Canada and in Nantucket and us here all communicating through Instagram, and that becomes your predominant source of information and connection, how can you then fail to address my strongest point, which is that Instagram has the most filtered newsfeed, is significantly more intrusive in regards to data mining, and we will directly address that in the next cross. And finally, Instagram, it being the closest competitor, you failed to address a point that all Instagram users have intimately adopted, which is that Instagram, you like one thing by accident, a funny duck swimming in the pond, and holy shit, now all I got is duck videos. That is a huge failure of Instagram's algorithm, and it's because they haven't figured it out. They don't have the secret sauce. TikTok has Ed's secret sauce. That shit is crack. It is exactly what you want, and I have never once felt lost in the weeds, and I have fully found a source of untapped information if I choose to curate it. Sorry, you want to address TikTok Live NPCs. Like anything on the internet, that was just another funny trend that has fallen by the wayside. A year ago, So Here's Where I'm At about the pathetic reflection of how it is become digital panhandling. And while there is still a market for it, most of it, I think it's a sick reflection of the consumer more than it is the person. They're just dancing. They're getting paid. They're dancing like a monkey. But the sick appetite of people that like poking and prodding and making people dance, that's the sick element. And fortunately, it was new. It was a novelty. So when it came about, there was a consumer base. But that has quickly dwindled. And while there are a few personalities that dominate, they're only dominating anymore because they're on Kai's live stream and they're not getting the rolling following that they had gotten in the past. So what you point to is a fad that could be found in any other social media, and it doesn't deny that it's severely outbalanced by all the other fruits of information and education on the platform. And we're getting close here, so just to quickly address, you say it's not a better algorithm, it's a quicker algorithm. And I just need to address the fact that I boldly disagree. And if I haven't made it clear enough that I think you can only hold that position fantastical like a unicorn because you are still ignorant to what TikTok has become and truly is. So now we need to get to our final cross. Okay. So I will have the first question.
Okay.
My questions for you begin with,
Oh boy.
how do you know about the intrusive TikTok user agreement? Like, how do you know how far its intrusivity is or how intrusive it is?
I have read about the terms of service on multiple different news sources, comments, feeds, what have you. Government officials.
What is your understanding? You keep bringing up the Trojan horse data collection.
Trojan horse, yes. If you look into, so there was, I don't have it in front of me.
Well, so I just want to ask you,
Yes.
you have presented it or advertised it
Yes.
as a method coined by TikToks, used only by TikTok.
I wouldn't say coined by TikTok. It's a method used by TikTok, almost exclusively by TikTok.
Where do you get the point of exclusivity?
Uh,
Have you engaged with the Facebook user agreement to the degree you have TikToks?
so the Trojan horse wouldn't necessarily be a terms of service type of.
Well, so my
Engagement.
position is going to be in disagreement with you
Okay.
that the Trojan horse data collection is a term used by the field. It isn't something that they, as you also agree, they didn't create through its inception. It's a practice that has existed. And this is the classification of it, Trojan horse data collection.
Well, specifically, it's dynamic code loading. Would be it. Trojan horse is a method in which it's a simplification method of it.
Exactly. So dynamic code loading.
Yes.
What is it? What code is it taking? You lead it to you.
But it's not taking code. That's it. It's not taking code. Dynamic code
What is it
loading.
recording?
It is loading code in there for later use. It could be for said Trojan. And that's why I use the phrase Trojan horse, because once you load the app, loads code, and then code could sit here, do some different things. So it could key log into other apps, key log into other websites. I understand other apps do that. And that's not necessarily the argument. They're a little worse because not every app does the dynamic code loading to the degree and to extent in which TikTok does. Where it comes into a national security risk is now we start getting into major privacy data. Not just, did I go to Subway 2 or 3 times this week? It's, oh, what social security number do I have? Oh, what am I using for passwords? And in a government that's not exactly kind to its own people, let alone foreigners, is concerning. Or you can see where it doesn't take too many dots to connect to go, oh, that's where my social security number went. That's where my banking information went. So there is a concern that goes along with that.
So let me ask you about the ADD style of content that TikTok presents. You scoff at a 3-minute piece of content. So what would be a admirable or sufficient length of content that you would want to see on social media?
Content that I choose. It all comes down to agency of choice. If I'm looking at 10-minute videos each, it's all.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you have the ability on YouTube to search just by 10-minute videos?
Yeah. There's a filter in which you can go. It's maybe not down to the specific minute minute, but there's anywhere from less than 3 minutes, 3 minutes to 10 minutes, 10 minutes on. You can filter through that.
But it is limited like that, right? It's sectioned off
I believe so, yeah.
By like you said, less than 3 minutes, over 10 minutes.
Yep. If I'm looking for a more than 10-minute video, I go there. And now there's a wide range between more than 10 minutes. There's 15, 12, 20, 30. I haven't looked at the filter here recently, but I'm sure there's maybe either more options or more specific options. It just depends. But I get the agency to choose, well, do I want the 3-minute video on cybernetics or do I want the 20-minute video on cybernetics? I'll take the 20-minute video on cybernetics.
So if one scoffs at a 3-minute video, there must be a threshold that is sufficient. What would that look like?
It depends on the style of content. It's not.
No, well,
I wouldn't.
no, it doesn't actually, because
I do believe
there's
so.
junk food, as you classify. There's junk food,
Yes.
and then there's not junk food. So what is not junk food?
Well, it's not based on time.
Okay, so then you can't scoff at 3 minutes, and that time should have no element here.
Well,
Right?
I don't necessarily believe. No, it's not.
So it either is an element or it isn't.
Well-
So is it based on time? Is the virtue of junk food content based on time or not? Because if your entire argument is that it's based on time, you have to
It's
die
not-
on that
My
hill.
argument's not based on time.
Your entire thing is based on how the shitification of the internet is solely based on time.
My entire basis is everything starts going down to the point of short form content, and it's not
An
not
extent
necess-
of time is if
But
again,
did I give a did I specify how much time is shit versus not shit?
no, we're trying to find out what the short form that is shit is, because what you're conceding is that short form can be virtuous. Agree or disagree?
Can be, yeah, it can be
Awesome.
virtuous. Yeah.
You know what? We're at our
I
time.
think you missed my on my final point here. I think you missed my fifth point on shitification of the internet. Smart content eventually turns dumb.
No,
It
that's
eventually
fine.
goes down to that road.
You've got plenty of time to make your points.
Okay.
Technically, I had first say, so you should have the final say.
Okay. I'll have final say. Is this final say or my final question?
This is our conclusion now.
our conclusion. Oh boy. All right. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go first.
Okay, you go
because you're
first.
gonna have final say.
And I'll final say.
Hold on. Okay. We'll keep it at 5 minutes, I guess. Let's keep it short.
Let's keep it short.
The crux of my position is going to lie on exactly what I stated in my last position, which is it's not that TikTok dances are making America dumb. It's that America is dumb, and the fully customized newsfeed is just holding a mirror up to our society. I want to emphasize that in my first contention, that user experience and interface design is important. And with that, TikTok is the better algorithm. It's the most open. It has a clean and safe platform while also not tarnishing or diminishing truth and the virtue of its content. Your entire refutation of that position is that it's not better, it's quicker. But then your entire position bottoms out when you concede that time has no bearing on the value of the content. So you and I can sit here and both agree that 10 1-minute videos and one 10-minute video has no value, no basis on its value, and it's completely based on the content itself and how valuable the content is. And I will lay the rest of my point on how valuable the TikTok content is. As a content creator, I can get access to literally anything. There was a world where YouTube used to be, or was, and in its inception, unfettered, open to the people. The fact that I could actually, with my dad at like 12 years old, watch Saddam Hussein's hanging from a flip phone in Iraq, and that was on YouTube. And then now, fast forward, you can't find that to save your life. I could find you 20 of them at a bar in TikTok. If we're sitting at a bar, just to prove the point, I could find it. There's an element that I can't find on any other platform that TikTok has given me, which is green screen characters. You could take any movie, anything, any meme, and they have it on a green screen that I could just for free. This is things that people pay $15 a month on a major platform for. I talked about the privacy and data. It's unfortunate that your focus, because that's where the attention is in the media, your focus is at TikTok's Trojan horse data loading. And the data loading element is what's unique. And I will admit that is what is unique to TikTok, the loading. But I need to tell you, my position is that you are misguided and inaccurate in how Facebook specifically, but how the other platforms manage your data or mine your data compared to TikTok. You made a claim that TikTok follows you through other applications and other forms of websites and media on your phone. Totally inaccurate. That is actually the one thing that sets it separate from Facebook. There are severe mining data issues with TikTok. Those being how it watches your eyes and your facial expressions to give you the perfect content. It knows when you're upset, when something makes you feel, or you're disgusted by it. It is watching your every move, and while that is creepy, it is what is making it the best platform. So I just want to correct the record for my position. It is that Facebook and the other platforms are the ones that follow you beyond their application, while TikTok does mine data in other unique ways. They keep it within TikTok. And it's also a very healthy platform. Something that you also left hanging on the tree was how TikTok is the only platform that has safety measures embedded on it. Really, because they know they're so darn superior. TikTok tells you, you've been on this for too long, time to get off, put it away, have some water, get some sleep. It promotes health. I want to get to your point that you made about the TikTok shop. And again, I double down and rest my case on the affirmations position is totally resting on ignorance. This is coming from someone who has never once interfaced with the TikTok shop. And so I know that to be the case. For you to actually compare it to Temu is laughable because, one, the concept of Temu is like a meme term, just like Ohio is on the internet. And the way TikTok looks down on Temu, it's laughable because you're getting high quality content and it's being sold at such a mass rate that it's getting you at a very low cost. You're not getting it for free. You're not getting $1,000 items on clearance, but you're saving a couple $100. You could get a brand new desk. I've watched people get like a $800 desk from TikTok. Shipping was reasonable. It's not free like Amazon, and it's absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, you're right. Well, we're going to take it like 6 or 7 minutes.
What?
Yeah. Sorry, I have points. I don't ramble. You brought about Facebook and every other platform. You said how I engage with it differently than the other platforms. And yet you suggest that it's the ADD style that's the problem. But then we agreed that the time frame aspect of it has no bearing on this. So you're dealing with a logical conundrum where half of your positions contradict the other. I want to rest my case on this. If you were somebody that was truly engaged in the platform, I would rest easy knowing that at least you have a full spectrum of this. Because government phones can't have the uploading of secret data, doesn't make it dangerous for our public. And I'm not, back to my second and final point, which was the strongest, left totally untouched, which was why promote the American companies that have no concern for your well-being. And you say, well, China has no concern for your well-being. And I go, well, the whole point of taking the 10 minutes to talk about this was because it's an explanation that everybody in the market could care less about you. You have to care about you because the market only cares about the dollar and it will exploit you in the wake of it. So I need to emphasize that when you read the user agreements and you truly get into the weeds, this is decentralized information. It's keeping our bureaucrats honest. No other platform's doing that, especially when all the other American platforms are quite literally being caught red-handed, hand in the cookie jar, in bed with the government, working in tandem with them. This is something that can never be said about TikTok because they are a direct adversary to the government. So, one, it gives us decentralized information. It promotes health. But if you were to at all engage with the TikTok shop, you would find that many of the products are promoting healthy, organic, different types of goods that you can't just go buy at Walmart or your local market. And so you're getting access to local but more healthy options, whether it's food or services. So I just rest on TikTok being the stronger platform altogether. And if we're going to take the position that these platforms are dangerous, we shouldn't concern ourselves with the country of origin and only concern ourselves with the boiled down facts, which are how much do they mine your data compared to anything else. I wish we had the time to do the direct comparison of Facebook to TikTok because it's starch. And the fact that I could give you right now 10 different examples of Facebook violating you and your public, but you can't come up with one for TikTok, that alone should be why it's the superior platform. So with that, go ahead and take 8 minutes if you want.
8 minutes if I like. So you fail to grasp my other point here that you can't hold TikTok as a Chinese conglomerate to the same standard as a United States corporation. The laws just don't allow it. You can't. We can hold Facebook and Google accountable. Do we choose not to? Absolutely. But we just simply can't, based on the country of origin in which this app originates. And you have a lot of trust with this app, a lot of trust in who's there, who's pulling the strings. At one point, you even mentioned YouTube was great. It was wonderful. You could see beheadings anytime you go to the bar. I don't necessarily agree. That's the basis of the best app in the world, but to each their own.
Never said beheadings.
Saddam Hussein hangings. Sorry.
No, I would say a massive global event.
Hey, this is my time. It's my time to talk. And so yes, you have a lot of trust in this app, and all these apps eventually do careen down to more control. They do eventually get worse. I don't trust any of these apps. My point is never, well, this is so much better than the other. It was never an A and B comparison. This was, oh, this is just bad, and now everything's starting to become this, and it's making everything worse due to the inherent nature of the way this delivers content to you. Yes, I think we do agree there isn't necessarily a virtue is 2 seconds shit, is 10 minutes shit. No. The delivery and the way most people interact with this app is very difficult. Once you're in a algorithmically controlled arena, it's hard to get out of it. It's hard to get to, well, now I'm getting TikTok dances. I can't just get Shakespeare like I want. And eventually, once you keep scrolling, the algorithms are going to start guessing. It's going to start throwing things at you. Yes, it looks at your eyeballs when you grimace at it, but there is an inherent nature to, a lot of people like watching, tits on the internet, and they like it. So eventually your app is going to direct you to that. You can start off with smart content. You can search your Shakespeare, you can search your whatever you want, but eventually it will go down to the dumb stuff, because that is what inherently the most amount of content on this app is. It's just dumb, regurgitated, trend chasing garbage. There's something to be said that yet we have another app that children are using, and it's a bit of an issue. Social media is a bit of a cancer here on this world, and due to the addictive nature of the way we are interacting with this app, it's inherently not good, not virtuous, not what we want to see. You mentioned that there is journalists that hold our politicians accountable. Yes, that in that one case it did happen. However, that's just I think the app's just more of a vehicle because of the amount of content you're going through, the amount of times you're surfing through it. It's not. I don't think it's inherently. It's not unique to that style of app. It's just what was popular at the time and what people are using. We saw a lot of this with Twitter. We saw a lot of this with Facebook. A lot, you bring up the Haitian thing. The Haitian situation in Springfield was a lot of that derived from Facebook groups that those individuals had agency and control what they were able to see. They were able to just join. Well, I want Springfield group for moms. That's it. I don't want anything else. They do allow you to just have that. Now with the way, again, this app orients itself, it does lend to other apps. it's got enough market share. It's able to enforce its own will. And with that is not positive. Like you bring up the music industry, TikTok's able to control the terms of production of the music industry. I don't find that to be good at all. In fact, I find that to be quite poor. Instead of the music industry choosing what it thinks each niche is going to have, it's now more so than it ever has, throwing what's the new trendy thing on the app without understanding what makes a trend happen. And it's focusing most of it's allocating its resources towards that specifically. TikTok's just it's the vehicle in which we see a lot of these issues that are coming to light, and because of the rapid speed and how we move through it it's not good. When we get our bite-sized snacks in however many minutes we seem to have them, it eventually, once we start hitting to that critical mass of no good content, junk food content, we're eventually going to be a sum of its parts the junk food, because I don't have the agency to control what is going on this app. It's algorithmically controlled. I don't have the agency to choose what video. I can't just individually look at 20 videos in a row, or I can't just look at 20 videos in front of me and go, well, I want that one. I want that one. I have to have all of it here. So on with this last point here. I believe Americans should stop using TikTok. TikTok's the worst social media app because of its addictive nature, and we should stop using social media apps and go outside. Go touch grass. Be a chill guy. Go touch grass. On TikTok. Rest my case there.
I can appreciate that. We got Ricky and Silent. Doug, did you have any comments as well? Does anybody want to say their 2 cents about it? Here?
As a TikTok user, sorry, go ahead, Doug.
No, he said he doesn't use TikTok. So what were you going to say, Silent?
I was going to say, as a TikTok user, I think TikTok, or actually I know for a fact that TikTok is way more, you can curate it way more to your liking. So if you don't like any of the garbage and trash that you see on TikTok, the dances and all that, you can completely remove it from your feed and have the For You page be algorithmically only things that you have liked, which makes it really, really fun to scroll through, versus Instagram that shoves a lot of posts that are not safe for work in many cases down your throat all the time.
Yeah, you want to talk about gruesome videos. There's so many more gruesome videos on TikTok, or I mean on Instagram.
Well, I thought your part of your point is you like these gruesome videos.
No, not at all. No. The crux of my point is I had to articulate for the sake of YouTube, because I never said the word you used about releasing appendages like a head. I didn't say that. I said a global leader having a global event. While being extreme, you got to see firsthand. Yeah, there's some war videos of Ukraine on TikTok, but it doesn't change the fact that if it was somebody being completely exploded, they would remove that. You're only getting that on Twitter.
Yeah, I think we can both agree with that. You're only getting the Twitter is unregulated in that aspect. Is that better?
Yeah.
Not, should there be an outlet for it? Yeah. I guess if you really want to watch it, there should be a platform in which you should see that. Or if you want to choose to see that, I think we can all agree we don't want that shoved in our faces. But when we use, half naked women, or which there's a lot of half naked women on TikTok.
But Silent's point stands true. You could scroll TikTok at work a lot easier than you could scroll Instagram.
Yeah, and I also noticed that TikTok does not really show me things I don't follow, whereas Instagram constantly does. All the time, Instagram is showing me certain OF girls and certain algorithmically advertising their OF videos a lot, just because they get a lot of views, and the Instagram algorithm is just this has a lot of views. Here, watch it. Even though it's not safe for work.
Exactly.
And that's happened to me a lot on Instagram. And it's a big reason why I don't use Instagram personally. I don't really scroll through Instagram anymore. I just scroll through Twitter or TikTok. That's it.
Do you have any thoughts, Ricky?
Can
What?
You can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Hey,
hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you're good.
Did you
Yeah.
say Cheney?
Nah. But you can't blame everything on social media apps. You know what I mean? Parents gotta take responsibility and stuff like
I
that.
like
Like
that.
if you don't want your kid to see certain things, don't download the app. Put a guard on them to be able to download the app to their phone. To you're an adult, yo. I have
I
TikTok,
love
but
it.
I don't even scroll on TikTok. I have like over 100 messages on TikTok, and I
You-
just don't check it because I'm just not a TikToker.
right.
You know, I'll post on there for the weekly stories and stuff in my story and stuff, but like I don't be on TikTok like that. I don't know the trends. Like the trends always come to YouTube. I'm a YouTube head.
I can
So,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
All right. All right.
I think we fully exhausted this point.
I think we did too.
To its fullest extent. So we could probably keep the next topic a little bit more brief, but I think there's still a lot of meat on this bone. And so for this topic, we're discussing protesters that disrupt traffic. I'm going to tell you, these folks are really a thorn in my side. And as a true blood American that wants to protect people's right to protest, I also, especially this position, it makes me take on the position that we need to have limits to protests. Like disrupting traffic, I don't know should be something protected. So what do I mean by this? I mean people throwing themselves in front of cars and then playing victim when the car does what a car does. Right? Like, are you not in the car? Like the car can't go in your living room. It can't go on the grass, but you can put yourself in the tax paid designated space for cars, and it's the car's fault for doing what a car does.
I think this is a unique problem because it's illegal to hit someone with your car, but at the same time, it's not illegal to be on public property. So that this is where this hybrid.
But it is illegal for you to jaywalk, and it is illegal on the books for you to be in the street. That's insane to me.
It's impeding traffic. Like, isn't that a ticket?
Yeah, it's a ticket. Like if I just went out in the middle of the intersection right now and just stood there, I would get a ticket. So this is a law in the books, but just like the summer of love when we were burning down Starbucks, it's just a law while it's being violated. We look the other way because really it's a disruptive behavior we like or allow or want to flourish. What's up, Doug?
I'm just noticing that 95% of these videos are all European videos too.
Well,
like, what the heck's going on there is my question.
Well, I think the case
for
is still
these,
the same.
The ones that I've curated for today, like again, there's so many of these on the internet. But this, if you notice, they're all kind of wearing the same vests. This is all because, and we don't have the time to take a bite from this apple. But one of the topics that runs parallel to the news today is the over censorship by the English government. And so they cleared out their jails of like real criminals so they can make way for the social policing that they've implemented recently, where they're arresting people for memes that they share, posts that they put on Facebook, and like their censorship is skyrocketing. So there's all these protests going on currently to bring attention to this, but it's disruptive protesting. So again, you're talking about a guy that's in full support of what you're doing, and yet you've got me as an antagonist to your position. I'm on the other side of the V because I don't agree with the manner at which you're doing it. And so that's why, Doug, they all look European, is because they are. This is currently what's going on in Europe. And again, I'm this lady. I should be able to grab their ass and drag them.
Because of traffic. Traffic, they're burning more fuel in traffic. What y'all protested against. Like, I never understood that about these protests. Look at the line of traffic. That's a lot of gas being on the like CO2 in the air.
Yeah. And the same liberals that are pro the environment are like, yeah, but give them a chance. They're saying their piece.
Well, I guess I have a hypothetical for you.
Lay it on me.
The theoretical square in China.
Love this.
They were protesting the government and stopping them doing government things. Yes, we look at videos like this and it's silly. We think it's obtuse. I'm just trying to get to work. I'm part of the climate problem, but by your definition, everyone's part of the climate problem by just existing. So there is no recourse here, and we're just going at two extremes at the end. But should we not be allowed to protest the thing in which the thing is ongoing, regardless of how annoying it is for everyone else? Because if we make it illegal to protest, in public places where they're cutting down trees or tearing down a monument or memorial, well, where does that first
wait, no, I disagree with your point.
Okay.
Because what makes it a protest other than it's illegal? So when what you're trying to say is, well, we need to be able to protect the person from going on, we need to protect a person's ability to trespass, go on this lawn and tie themselves to a tree, because that's the beauty of protesting. Well, it's not like what they're doing is legal. It's still a trespass, but it's a crime being done in protest. So this is a crime being done in protest. It still is a protest. I'm saying, and this comes to the final video I have here, this is the dialogue. This, I think, is what's egregious. If you've got a person blocking traffic, they are breaking the law. You can't have police officers standing there with their hand in their pants, and they don't step up and insert justice until I commit a crime, aka assault the person. Assault being I grab them by their book bag and drag them out. No further extent than that. I'm going by the legal definition. I am in no way promoting extensive harm or physical injury. I am suggesting, but it's also a legal crime. So this person is committing a crime by disrupting traffic. And I don't know the language of what the actual crime would be of being in the road during, public traffic. I mean, you can't just wander through the road too. That's how they could detain you to ask, are you sober? Can I see your ID? The basis of all of that is because we think we've got freedom here. No, you actually don't have the legal right to mindlessly wander along or in the street. You aren't committing a crime, but now you have presented legally probable cause for me to detain you and investigate the situation. So I just bring it full circle to when you go, we need to be able to allow them to kind of break the rules and chain themselves to a tree. I agree. But that virtue or that point doesn't then make it legal to chain yourself and trespass on this property. It's still illegal. But it's in protest, and and when they come and arrest you and you go to jail, you're sitting there in pride. One, the law was supplied, but I was doing this in protest. Martin Luther King or
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks,
yeah.
Perfectly. She went to jail with the intention of a protest drawing more attention to this. In fact, I want you to arrest me. That's going to save the point or hopefully bring justice. So I just want to say the problem is when a person is trespassing in the middle of the street and I commit an assault by grabbing their book bag and pulling them, why is it at that point a bystanding officer with his hand in his pockets then decides to choose the law, but totally ignored it when they were violating the law?
Bring up the video. There you go.
Let me get this
Yep.
Just acknowledge that the horn doesn't stop. It's still going.
It's
now I want to concede my point is void because in this specific example, the cop should go after the guy because he throws this other man into his feet.
Yep.
If that guy didn't hit the cop, it probably would have been different. But notice these cops come in full force. Now they're going to supply justice.
Pushing him into
You've
traffic.
got assholes, it's like 10 of them, flat out blocking the traffic. But it isn't until he removes one of them, ipso facto, through the person he removes, commits an assault on the cop.
I have to assume that's what that guy's buddy is yelling to the cop, too. He got out of the car to yell at the cop.
Exactly. That's a bigger point. And so again, what if these guys are going to work, and it shouldn't belittle it? It shouldn't at all take away from their right to transport themselves.
Look, and they're even
But-
blocking a motorcycle right now, and even a
I
motorcycle
would
should
go
be
through
able to
that.
just go around, mount the curb, whatever. You know, if they're going to block the road, screw it. I'll take the sidewalk then.
I would rip that sign. And then what? I'm being arrested for
No,
assault.
just drive through
Yeah.
the sign. It's a freaking sign.
You'd probably be arrested for assault.
Well, it could be
This is
violent.
like
How about
first
this
person
one?
disorder, the main character syndrome. You know what I mean? Because if they really want to make a point, go in front of where the oil trucks drive out and block those oil trucks. You know what I mean? Block the gas trucks that's going to go to the gas stations. Go to those places. Don't disrupt everyday people's life over y'all
People who may
shenanigans.
agree with them, too.
They're making a point, but like, come on now.
Right? Silent, what are your thoughts on this form of protest?
Yeah, I think the better thing to do is probably to go protest in front of the lawmakers that are affecting the laws that you are protesting. Maybe disrupt their day, because that'll probably send a much clearer message and much stronger message than to just disrupt like normal citizens' days. You know, maybe go to the parliament in the UK, you know, or like the
Don't go to the
Senate
Capitol.
or whatever, you know, like, and that's what I mean, right? Like it's
Not allowed.
it's really gonna send a much stronger message if like 100 people just block the way into parliament, for example. All right,
Right.
guys, yeah, you guys can't have your parliamentary debate now until you hear us out, you know, or like,
Yeah, I love
you know,
that.
you discuss with us, or until you see our issues, you know, because think of how much more direct that is.
Right.
Because most likely, if you're protesting something, someone or somewhere in parliament, in the UK's case, or in the Senate in US case, or like they probably wrote a law or made some sort of bill that is the reason why this thing you're protesting is even happening in the first place. So why not go disrupt them, the people that
Right.
wrote the bills, right? Instead of just sitting in traffic and causing fucking chaos and just mayhem, basically. Heck,
Well,
even
and-
that bike couldn't even pass. Like, that was crazy. Like, they're even blocking
Yeah.
bikes. Like, that's wild. Like, even the bikes can't pass through. Like, that's just insane.
Well, and I love the point that you raise. I mean, you're giving alternatives that would not only have a stronger impact, but it would have an even lesser negative impact on the community.
Absolutely.
Because the bigger takeaway is you need to compel your fellow man to get on board with your position, to support your social cause. And you can have a whole line of people in that traffic that stand by your position and support your cause, and you're actually doing more harm than good, because I was having an emergency. My wife was having a blood clot and I needed to get her to the hospital, and you caused a stroke because I couldn't get there in time. So yeah, I agree with you that we should be aborting everybody 12 months after the fact, but I'm pissed that you ruined you ruined my experience with my wife, and now even though I support your cause, I now can't, I hold a grudge that otherwise now tarnishes the position. Did you want to respond at all?
Yeah, I sometimes I think with protesting, there is, let's put us back in the 60s and the civil protests. People were annoyed, like, well, I can't sit in the front of the bus. I'm trying to sit in the front of the bus. You have this woman here, so now I'd be in front of the bus. I'm trying to sit in front of the bus. There is some, I think they don't do a good job relating to the average person. Be like, well, maybe we should stop oil. They just kind of annoy people. But there is, a protest should have cultural impact. It should just, if we're just going to relegate all protests to the least seen part of wherever, well, you can protest, but it's over. It's got to be in the middle of the woods at 3 a.m. I don't think that's.
But you don't think this is dangerous?
I don't disagree. It's dangerous. It absolutely is. But there is a protest should reach the masses. The government should not tell you where you can and cannot protest. Now, there's consequences to your actions.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
You are having breakfast and you're about to cut your toast. Me and you are at Bob Evans.
Yep.
You're about to cut your toast. And right when you go down to cut your toast, I put my hand under your toast. Did you cut my hand, or am I retarded?
I think it would the onus would be on you.
Huh. So we would agree that you jumping in front of my car isn't me hitting you, but you being retarded.
Yeah.
So why can't we just go? Like, that's, in my opinion, the major logical flaw in our legal system in regards to these crimes, because they're crimes. And the fact that you hold the man holding the knife as a higher aggressor than the person that throws their hand under the knife is absolutely insane to me. We can have conversations for over a year that cars are driving weapons, and you jumping in front of my multi-ton weapon machine is my fault magically.
Yeah, but should you be allowed? You know, some of the in some of the videos you post here too, there is people who are just. I'm kind of moving you. I'm moving you with my car. Should we, should that be allowed? No, I think
Here, I want to strengthen your position.
Okay.
Because as I talked it out with you, something that kind of sat with me is I make that whole position, but on the other side of the coin, if you hit a pedestrian in any way, right? You're going to a Browns game and there's just people walking everywhere.
Yeah.
And somebody jaywalks, which is illegal, and they just jump in front of your car. It's your responsibility as the licensed driver to be aware of your surroundings at all times. And if you could prove it with strong video evidence, that's about the only way out. But the threshold for proof is so high that really the rule of thumb is if you make contact with anybody, a pedestrian, not somebody else in a car, but in any way a pedestrian, somebody on a bike, somebody walking their dog, somebody jaywalking, it almost always 9 times out of 10 falls on the driver, even when it's not the driver's fault. So if that is the basis of that law, then I need to hold myself consistent with if 6 of them end up being assholes and barricading the street, you as a licensed driver have agreed to take on the responsibility of knowing, being aware of your surroundings, not driving through them. You have to, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good for a society to normalize hitting people with their car.
Wait. But we have totally normalized on the other side of it, jumping in front of cars, stopping cars, disrupting its traffic.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. It comes down to what's the higher threshold of like bad. Like, we talked a lot about virtuous. Like, is not hitting someone with your car more virtuous than hitting someone with your car?
I would say this is Darwinism, because there's literally nobody sitting cross-legged on that street that has cured cancer. I don't know. Is the teachers to my kids? Is a doctor? I mean, we're talking about the recluse of our society. I'm not allowed to say that. I guess we got to pretend that all the shapes of the snowflakes are worth, but
But I think that also comes down to the court system too. They will, if this were to go into a trial, they'll see, okay, you're not there is intent with part of this. You're moving slowly. You're just trying to get out of the way. You're trying to go to work. You're doing your thing. I think the threshold of that in the court of law probably. And I don't want to say not guilty, but definitely you're not getting in as much trouble as you would be stopping people in front of traffic. I think the court system would benefit the person just trying to get to work. I'm not actually trying to hit you now. You jump in front of the car. Court system's not looking highly on that. You intentionally hit someone with your car. You're like, oh, that's a protester. Better go this way and get him. They're also not going to look high enough on you on that as well. But there is, I do like your point where, yeah, as a licensed driver, we do take on the responsibility to be aware of others on the road. Others on the road don't really have to be aware of us as the same threshold in a legal system.
Right. Any wrapping thoughts? Because we got to get this to our final topic. The friendly feud is what everybody's been hanging on for. That's the most fun.
Cool.
Silent, Ricky?
I think at the end of the day, the whole point of protest is to send a message. And I think to send a message to the lawmakers that are actually affecting the laws in which you are being affected by, usually, especially at a local level, I think protesting there is a much more effective idea. I mean, the truckers here literally went to the Capitol and they all blocked like government buildings mostly. But where they ended up being too annoying or too much of a nuance is they started blocking entire streets, right? Not just like government buildings and blocks. And that's when the government was like, all right, guys, you got to wrap it up. And they, shut it down pretty quickly. And I think had they just blocked government buildings, they probably could have been able to hang out there for much longer and kind of protest for much longer and send their message across for much longer than the short time they were allowed to do it. So in my opinion, I think if you're going to protest, do it inside a government building or in front of the government building, or at least where the lawmakers, have their offices or have their like, I guess, place of business or place where you can visit them, and community centers and things like that, where those lawmakers actually are hanging out. Why don't you just go directly disrupt them? I think that's way, way more effective than disrupting an entire street or causing traffic.
Well, does your opinion also last with like public spaces, like you said, government buildings, but like a park or a school? A school might be one of those big gray areas where do you think you should be allowed to protest in a school?
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. I think a school is pretty appropriate as long as you are doing it in a non-disruptive manner. Like you could just sit there, like these guys are just sitting there with signs. Like you could do that in a school. That doesn't really disrupt that much versus, sitting there on the street where there's moving, multiple ton vehicles and cars and heck, even bikes, as we saw. So that's definitely way more disrupting than, say, like if all of us just go to the school gym and just sit quietly and hold signs, I think there's ways to it, right? And also in a park too, same thing. Like if we all just go to the park and hold signs, we're not really disrupting much in a park, because there isn't really much movement going on in the park. And if there is, people can just go around, so it's not like a car can't really, go on the sidewalk and go around you, right? So
but can we agree that the back and forth you two just shared mainly revolved around the consideration of disruption, how much of an extent we would allow a disruption? And so the First Amendment has already fully litigated where your rights to freedom of speech and freedom to protest start and end in a schoolhouse. And so how do you police something at school that was posted on Facebook outside of school hours? These considerations have already been totally flushed out. They say it has to reach the schoolhouse gate for them to have the right to police it. So one of the considerations was during the Vietnam War, a girl wore an armband in protest to signify a protest to the Vietnam War, and the school intervened. The school tried to prevent her ability to do that. And through its litigation, we learned that this is a protected piece of protest, and the length at which they can police these protests are the extent at which it's disruptive. If it impacts the classroom and the ability to achieve the goal of school, then they can start to police it. But beyond that, they really can't. Within a dress code and everything else, there are limits. So the interesting thing, and that's why I only brought that up, is it all revolves around disruption. And yet we can completely and entirely agree that this is extensively disruptive. And for some reason, it's the only form of dangerous disruptive behavior that we protect as a protest versus any other form of protest. Do you have any other wrapping thoughts before we get into Friendly Feud?
No, let's get into Friendly Feud.
So, gang, I got bad news, but Doug's such a great producer. I looked at David. I go, Doug's gonna react. He's gonna be upset. I'm about to upset Doug. But you know what? I gotta say, he stepped in the role and become quite a good producer because he already internalized. He's like, let me guess. I'm not playing Friendly Feud anymore. I go, yeah, you got booted. There was a cat that tried leaving with my hat. And that's why I yelled during David's final conclusion, hey, don't leave with my hat. So the guy that left early is what is preventing Doug from being able to compete.
Defend my title.
Exactly. So, Doug, at least you're not losing your title. We're just having a prelim fight. And because of that, we're tapping in Silent and Ricky. So David, it being your last round and you being the worst at any of our games we've ever done, but most importantly, Friendly Feud, you get to pick the litter. Pick your digital partner.
Oh, my digital partner. Silent.
No diddy.
Go. Let's go.
Okay.
He needed all the help he could get. All right, so it's going to be David and Silent versus Will and Ricky. David, if you could, can you brief us on your experience at the Indiana game?
Oh,
As,
yeah.
You know, Will, you can come
do
start
some
getting in
college
here
football.
too.
Who doesn't love
While
some
I
college
get us
football
prepped,
talk?
I just got to get some quick things going to get the
Gotta grow your
game show
mustache?
cards and everything else.
Well, we'll make this you and me, Will.
Yeah, how was the game?
Great. Wonderful. Actually, I think my biggest takeaway. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. There we go. There we go. I think my biggest takeaway with the game day atmosphere. So there was a lot of talk, there was a lot of consternation with Ohio State fans that these noon games aren't really that great. They're not
Big noon kickoff.
The big noon kickoff was affecting
Yep.
The fans, the rowdiness of the crowd. And I can anecdotally say noon kickoffs don't work. They're not great for crowd
The problem
structure.
is especially in Ohio State this year, they've had a lot of top games being played at that outside of the Oregon game.
Yep. No, where I was pleasantly surprised. I thought Indiana was one of the more rowdy crowds of not even just this year, but just in my, Big Ten year.
They're hyped this year.
Yeah. About a decade of, going to Ohio State games. This is one of the better ones. I wouldn't say it's the top. I'd still see, like Penn State team up north, Oklahoma, a couple of the other games are better, but I think I was pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going in for a bit of a snoozer, but really, it was actually a pretty good crowd. It caused it cost maybe one or two false starts. So I wasn't left disappointed in that aspect of it. And I was also surprised how many Indiana fans were at the stadium. I would say is about 90-10, where I'm thinking it's like 95-5. Usually not too many teams really like to
I
travel.
think it's not too far of a drive.
Nope. It's a fairly easy drive.
Especially 10-0, just signed a coach 8-year deal.
Yeah.
No, they're hyped.
And I think it's also probably hard to find, like, if you're just looking at a camera, because they're all wearing their red or white.
I know.
Or
pretty
black.
similar, yeah.
You're wearing a black coat, and it's either red or white. So it's hard. It's really hard to tell. And I was talking to one of the Indiana fans that said they always take their big stadium pictures for like on the wall or like their big like showcase events during Ohio State games. They're all just wearing red. So they'll just see a nice away game like, oh, there you go. Hey, this is the normal Indiana game day crowd. So, well, the other thing here's my concern though. I think the defense played great. I think our special teams made some plays. Their offense had some issues. I don't think there was quite as consistent. So we left off like the last major drive we had as an Ohio State team was that Penn State drive. We're basically exhausting 6 minutes of clock at the last quarter of the game. I haven't quite seen that since. We'll make some big plays, we'll make some big passes, but we're kind of boom or bust. We live or die by how much separation, how much time we can give Will Howard to throw the ball. We're not like running the ball like 5 yards at a clip. It's just not happening.
I'm not the biggest fan of Travion Henderson. I don't think he's bad by any means.
Oh,
but we haven't quite found J.K. Dobbins' replacement in these recent years, and you kind of seen that. Kind of noticed that. It's Ohio State. They get good recruiting. It's not like Travion's a bad running back by any means, but I was more impressed with Indiana's for as little offense as they had.
Yep.
He's a guy who get hit 1 yard and still gain 5.
Yep.
I
think that's part of our issue too. When we ran into it seems like we either just suffocate them when they throw the ball, which I like that. But when they run, they'll run, they'll dig.
Outside of the Oregon game, Ohio State's defense has done a very good job at applying pressure.
I agree. And I think a lot of that had to do with just mixing up looks, getting a bit more blitzing in there, rotating defensive linemen.
Not only that, you think the first drive they played a lot of cushion defense, a lot of 2-zone, 3-zone deep.
That is a emblematic of a Ryan Day Ohio State team.
Right.
They will just let that first drive happen.
And then second drive, start to send the dogs at them.
Yep.
And you could kind of see early on in the game, like I especially noticed, Indiana's problem, you're not going to get the recruits that Ohio State has. Yeah. NIL is great. You're going to be able to bring guys up. big dogs on the front line,
Yep.
both sides. You could just see really
size
early
and
on
speed difference.
size and speed. You saw it from Caleb Downs. You know, I think Ohio State's gonna. I'm looking forward to the Oregon rematch.
Me too.
That'll be huge. All right, you turds ready?
We're ready.
Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Friendly Feud. Today is Thanksgiving themed because we're bringing in the holidays for all you folks, and I hope you're excited for a fun time. So today, we're going to be breaking it down. David, you have an opportunity as being the greatest loser to ever play games on the Rethink Tank. We want you to get one dub. So I'm hoping you could pull one out here.
Me too.
So looking at first you and Silent versus Will and Ricky. We had 75 people surveyed for today's contest. To get the first attempt at the question here, you have to be the first to hit the buzzer.
Before you ask that, can I ask a question? Does that hurt when you take it off?
What?
The mustache.
Surprising. It's good makeup.
What?
It's easy. It comes.
What do you mean it's
Makeup in
Like
this
you drew
economy?
that on, or like you?
What I do is I go in the bathroom and and then it grows.
I thought you were
Easy
farting.
Shave tomorrow.
He gives himself a Cleveland steamer.
It's just a makeup.
No, that's in the morning.
So first one to hit the buzzer, but you have to wait until I ask the question. So
Wait,
Finish.
So this is for the both of us.
yes,
Oh, okay.
you versus David. Name the best way to cook the turkey. I think it was David. David,
The best way to cook the turkey?
please.
That'd be deep frying.
Deep frying is the number 2 answer. You are shit at this game. Will,
The oven.
go figure. That's the number 1 answer. Do you want to play or pass?
Ricky, do you want to pay or pass? Yeah,
Ricky's
he wants
saying
to play.
play.
He wants to play it.
No, pass, Ricky. You're
No.
muted, man. Unmute yourself.
Ricky, you're muted.
I
Damn it!
hear
Speak
you.
up.
Oh,
You're
pass,
outside.
pass,
You're outside.
You're
damn
outside. Ricky is saying pass.
pass.
it. Pass. All right, pass.
Bad strategy.
That's
You
not
get
good.
to go.
but-
There are 2 left on the board.
So
Okay.
is it
Or
silent?
there's only 1 left on the board. It goes to Silent. Bring in Silent for me. All right, Silent. Name the best way to cook the turkey. Number 1 answer was oven. Number 2 answer was fried. Only 1 left. Jesus, why would you pass? What is the third option? You guys saved.
I'm giving him a win.
Yeah, you saved David.
A smoker?
It's smoking. Yes, smoked turkey is. You guys won the point. Da, 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 da.
Dun, dun,
David got
dun.
one.
I thought it was more options. My fault. I didn't know there was only one more answer.
David was saved. You're getting so lucky. All right, and
I don't think you wanted my answer. So it wasn't smoked. I quit.
Microwave a turkey.
And you're serious about it?
Like leftover turkey, you
You're not
microwave it
kidding
when you're
that
done?
that
It's
would-
not cooking. It's being heated. You are so bad at these games. Literally,
Maybe
if Doug was,
now I know why Ricky
This-
passed.
they'll beat themselves. He's had a front row seat to David enough times. All right. Can you bring in Ricky and David? Or Ricky and Silent, please? Perfect. Pin W. So all you have to do is hit send. First one to get it in the chat to Doug gets to have the first attempt. Can't go until I finish asking the question. Name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving. Silent.
Oof, silent.
Silent. What do we got?
Beer?
Beer is the number 3 answer. There's 7 total. Do you want to play or well? Now it actually
No.
goes to Ricky.
Yep.
Ricky,
There goes Ricky.
pick one.
Damn, bro.
Name a
let's go
popular
with
drink served on Thanksgiving.
Cider.
Apple cider. You're in cider.
Yeah.
All right. That's the number 4 answer. Silence stays alive. This one goes to David. David, you gonna play or pass?
Said 7, right?
7.
7. Let's play it.
All right. Starting with David. Name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving. 75 people interviewed. 7 answers on the board. 3 and 4 are gone with beer and apple cider.
Wine.
Wine is the number 1 answer. Great choice.
Nice.
Silent, coming to you. Again, there's 7. Right now, you've got 1, 3, and 4. Wine, beer, apple cider. Name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving. I love that you had a pick of the litter and you picked the Canadian for the most American holiday.
I gotta celebrate it like a month.
We have Thanksgiving here too, by the way.
Just a month before.
It just
I'm glad
happens
you
a
guys
month
are
before.
thankful.
Yeah.
They're thankful for their engines. They got them too.
They gave him casinos.
All right, so what are you going with?
Coke.
So here,
So, like, soda?
You're a judge. I think
it is a general.
All right, we're gonna give it to you. Soda pop is a category on the list.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Silent. Do you guys call it soda or pop up there?
What do you call it? Coke?
I just say Coke. I usually
Yeah,
just say
like
Coke.
Southerners just call it Coke. What Coke?
Yeah.
What Coke you want? Sprite? All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's a real thing.
Lamos.
Mason Dixon line.
And what
Big
was that?
deal.
What was that 3?
That's that extra chromosome. All right, name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving. We got wine, beer, apple cider, and soda pop. We're looking for answers 2, 6, and 7. Going to you, David.
Liquor. Booze, liquor. I mean, those go interchangeable.
That I'm going to give you an opportunity to be more specific.
Be more specific. Let's go whiskey.
Number 2 answer was whiskey or bourbon. All right, flip it to silent. I guess no X's on the board still. You've got all of the top answers so far. Wine, whiskey, beer, apple cider, and soda pop. You're looking at options 6 and 7. Going to you, Silent Destroyer.
Water.
You know, only one person put water.
Huh.
Only one. So that's the first X. Because to get on the list, you got to have at least 2 people submit the answer. That's how I'm able to avoid some of the most insane things. Something that could never be read aloud. All right, there's 1 X on the board. Looking at David, can you keep yourself alive? Name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving.
Coffee.
That is a great one.
Yeah.
That is the number 7 answer. There is only 1 left. And it's probably the toughest one, but you'd be surprised how often this came up. So, Silent Destroyer, 1 X on the board. Can you name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving? Only 1 left.
Vodka.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll leave that to you, Judge, or person that has a lookalike on TV that I can't name.
This is really hard, I have to say.
This is a tough one.
Because predominantly it's an ingredient. I'll give you it's an ingredient in a drink and give you an X. You're wrong, but it could be used in this drink, or maybe even predominantly. But there's 1 X left. Going to you, David. You could win it or lose it, or give Will an opportunity to steal it. Can you name a popular drink served on Thanksgiving?
Punch.
Dude, you are so bad at this.
He even gave you a hint, bro.
Major hint. That is so far from it. No, we did not give you vodka punch. All righty. Flipping it over to Will. Will, this is your chance to... Ricky. No, Ricky, it's you.
Ricky. Oh,
You
no.
have a chance to steal here. Can you name a drink often served on Thanksgiving?
Unmute yourself too, Rick.
Tonic.
Tonic? Just
Yeah.
the drink tonic?
Wasn't it Ricky's guess?
No, because he guessed against Silent.
Oh.
So
Gin.
Will is guessing.
No. Okay. The hint was that vodka would be an ingredient.
He already said his too.
Yeah.
Bro,
Tonic
I can assure you I don't got it. So
Yeah.
whatever
This
whatever
was
it
so-
is.
Okay, admittedly, I got this so many different ways, but martinis. I got an apple cider martini, pumpkin martini.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
there
never in my
easily
mind.
23
I was gonna go with a
martinis.
cranberry
that was.
cocktail.
I was either punch or cocktail. I had a cocktail.
That was always going to be the hardest one. So
Yeah.
it came down to you.
Little
You got the
specific.
points. Hey, you got to make it difficult for the other squad.
I was like, I knew all 6, and then I hit 7. I was like,
I thought coffee was the dark horse, and he said it right out, like way
Yeah.
quicker than I thought. I was like, well,
Once water
Coffee
wasn't
makes
it,
sense.
I would
that
not
was
have
coffee.
guessed.
Yeah.
what was it? Cocktail martini?
Martini.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one drank. On
Yeah, I
Thanksgiving.
don't
Oh,
think
I've
it's
never
like
had
cocktail.
martini.
I can see cocktail like
You
punch.
said vodka, and I was like,
So I was going to
tonic? Like,
argue up to
I'm
high
sure-
hell. Like punch isn't it, but a cocktail is. What do you think cocktail is? What do you think punch is? Cocktail? All right.
No, I've never thought
No,
of.
I think
as a
punch is like
cocktail.
Hawaiian with like the guy surfing on it.
Yeah.
No, but like the
I think
punch
of
bowl.
Juice in the driveway after basketball. Okay, coming to you guys. Look at your buzzers. David and Wilbur.
Yay.
Can you name a popular Thanksgiving side dish?
That was
I thought it was David too.
Yeah.
I thought it was
All right.
David. Yeah.
Name a popular Thanksgiving side dish, David.
Stuffing.
Stuffing, the number 3 answer, Wilbur.
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes is the number 2 answer.
Oh,
They
I
st- you
love
want to
mashed
play or
potatoes.
pass?
Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna play it.
All right, this time they're going to play it. That probably would have been the better strategy the last time, but it's okay.
I defer to my defensive coordinator. He was wrong.
Oh, I thought it was microwave. Anyway, name a popular Thanksgiving side dish. We have the number 2 and 3 answer, mashed potatoes and stuffing. Ricky, what do you got for us?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is the number 4 answer. Way to go. Way to go. Wilbur, name a popular Thanksgiving side dish.
I'm just trying to think of what I ate Thanksgiving. It's very limited.
Dude, I can name like 5 off the top of my head. I'm ready.
Shocker.
Oh, bro.
Doug, you want to phone in?
Shut the fuck up,
There is
Doug.
no phone a friend. Game.
I don't know. Pie.
Bro. It's famous ingredient for
Pie is not a side dish, sir.
But, Ricky, you got your first X. You got 2
Cranberry
3, 4 on the
sauce.
board, 8 potential options. There's a lot to
He
pick
just
from.
gave you an answer, bro.
Mashed potatoes, stuffing, and mac and cheese.
No,
Ricky
he
just said
What'd he
something.
say?
Ricky, repeat
cranberry sauce.
it. Really?
Whoa.
That is shocking to me.
Oh, Doug, was that not on your list?
All right, it's 2
Bro.
X's. Will
That famous song.
Expect me.
Oh. Let's do it.
exactly
Greens,
greens what?
beans.
Green beans is the number 1 answer.
There you go,
Funny
buddy.
enough, I did
What?
start thinking of that person.
Beans, potatoes,
Yeah.
lamb,
I just
lamb.
started running through it all. All right, finish the
You
song,
name
Ricky.
it.
Finish
All
the song,
right,
Ricky.
You guys are kind of doing all right. You got half of them. The 1, 2, 3, 4 green beans, mashed potatoes, stuffing, mac and cheese. There's still 5, 6, 7, and 8 left on the board. Can you name a popular Thanksgiving side dish?
Let's go with baked beans.
Huh.
Unfortunately, not.
Bold
on the
choice,
list.
sir. Bold choice.
I'm glad you
bring
said
in-
cranberry
Bring in
sauce.
silent for us. All right, silent destroyer.
Rigged.
If you can name one of them on the list, you steal the point. Can you name a popular Thanksgiving side dish?
Collard greens.
I mean,
That's probably.
I would put
considered
that
the
with green beans.
Yeah.
But the number, all right, so you had the number 1, 2, 3, 4, green beans, mashed potatoes, stuffing, mac and cheese. Number 5, gravy. Number 6, beets. Number 7, cornbread. And number 8, sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potato
See, I would've considered-
casserole.
I mean,
would
I
have
I
just
agree
said
with all
sweet
those. I don't know if
potatoes.
gravy is a side dish.
I wouldn't consider gravy.
I would have
Yeah.
just
I wouldn't
said
consider
sweet
gravy
potatoes.
side
Surprised
dish
how many
either,
people put it down.
And no one put cranberry sauce?
And who does beets?
Which you would think.
Who does beets?
I wouldn't even be mad if you went to me like cranberry sauce. No, you lose.
I would think gravy is like a dressing.
Yeah, listen,
Right. It's not so much a side. Yeah.
leave it to the 75 folks that did their social justice and answered the survey. For those that ignored the survey, it's your fault. So I blame you. You could have had whatever you said, beets, no, cranberries, but you didn't answer it. Anyway, going to the guys on the screen, our digital folks, W's in the chat. Can you name a popular Thanksgiving dessert?
Ricky.
Mm.
Name a popular Thanksgiving dessert, sir.
Let's go with. Do I have to be specific with my pie?
I would be.
All right, let's go with a pumpkin pie.
That is the number one answer. You take the cake
Good
or
answer.
the pie.
Good answer.
Which way do you want to go? Play or pass?
This is all on my guy Will. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, way to defer. We'll play it.
All right. Going to Wilbur. You got the number one answer off the board. There's 8 potential options. Can you name a popular Thanksgiving dessert?
Well, I like to pair my pie with ice cream.
A what pie?
You know what? Cheers to you. That actually didn't make it on the list.
Yeah,
But that was a good-
all you people voted fucking suck.
What type
man.
of pie
That's
did
all
Will
I'm saying.
say? What type of
Who
pie?
raised y'all?
Ice cream.
Oh, ice cream?
Who-
Oh, fuck yeah, bro.
Compared to what's on this list, you'd think it would have made it.
Dude, these aren't American
Yeah.
families voting in this list. These are not
That's
American.
all.
Why do you think I picked the Canadian?
So it was all right, Ricky, 1 X on the board. You only got pumpkin pie. Can you name a popular Thanksgiving dessert?
Let's keep it in the pie. Let's go with a sweet potato pie.
I was gonna say no to that one, bruh.
Ooh.
Woof. All right, we got 2
Bruh.
X's on the board. Going
They
to
ain't
Wilbur.
cultured.
All right, my favorite pie, banana cream pie.
I doubt that.
You're
made it.
serious?
That's my favorite pie.
Yeah,
You
no
don't
way,
have your
bro.
favorite
Well,
pie
that's
on
my favorite
Thanksgiving
pie,
all the
too.
time.
I have it every Thanksgiving,
All right.
every time.
You should've took
So
survey.
I guess I'm the wrong family.
You hang out with the Canadians, I guess. All right. It goes to Silent. Silent. You have the chance here to steal the point if you can name one of the 7 potential answers still on the board. Can you name
Toasted,
a popular Thanksgiving dessert?
toasted marshmallows.
Bro, you
So
guys
you
are
are
on track.
Canadian.
Probably not what I would have chosen.
How do you even serve that
You toast
beyond the
marshmallow.
campfire?
He's Canadian. He doesn't do our
Usually-
Thanksgiving, man.
Usually they bake it in an oven.
Wait, you just bake marshmallows?
Yeah,
Marshmallow casserole.
Dude, I've done that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Okay, whatever. I'm the asshole.
I don't know if people do that on
I'm gonna
Thanksgiving.
totally X you. Wrong. All right.
Ooh, toasted
I
marshmallow.
can't wait till the Christmas episode where we all guess everything wrong.
Yeah, this has been. This
You
this is
needed-
the only way David can.
You
compete.
needed me out there.
Yeah, it's true. Doug, you keep us grounded. So, looking at all the answers still on the board, name a popular Thanksgiving dessert. Ricky nails it with the number 1 answer, pumpkin pie. And don't forget, Ricky and Will keep the point because Silent and David couldn't steal it. The other options left on the board, starting at the bottom, Rice Krispie treats, brownies, cheesecake, cookies, pecan pie, pumpkin cake roll, apple pie.
Apple
and
pie.
then the number 1 answer was that pumpkin pie.
Dude,
So, those are the
Ricky,
answers.
apple pie, bro. Of all the pies, I was sitting here. I'm like, Ricky's gonna say apple.
See, my
Bro, I was-
favorite on
I'm not a fan of apple pie. I like McDonald's apple pie,
Was it?
but I don't like other
Pecan
apple
pie and
pies.
Oh, was I don't remember hearing that.
I love
He
it.
just-
You lost me at Rice Krispie treat. I was like, Halloween, cool. We're back.
Yeah.
We're so back.
So technically, Will and Ricky have 2 points. David and Silent have 2 points, and we now have a tied game. So hopefully we don't have to go to the tiebreaker. We've got 3 others queued up. We're going to you guys here in the studio. First one to hit the buzzer. Name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving.
We don't do shit on Thanksgiving.
What do you got, David?
Microwave.
Cooking. Yeah. Cooking.
Cooking.
Yeah.
What do you got?
What?
Watch football.
Watch football / play football is the number 1 answer. You're gonna
Jesus.
player pass.
Oh, Ricky, we'll play.
No, Ricky, I think is oh yeah, okay.
All right. Going
Stop
to
saying what he's doing because you were almost wrong the
Ricky's
first
like
time.
making these pass movements. And
I was gonna say pass it, but I trust in you.
All right, so Ricky, you're up first.
Ricky, speak up. My God. You're outside.
Oh, my
You
God,
were
bro.
outside. Ricky, can you name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving?
Eat, bruh.
Eat is on the list, number 3.
How is that not number 1?
How is
Football
cooking not even
dominates the
on there?
holiday.
Jesus Christ.
Wilbur.
Argue over politics.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one, though.
That's every Thanksgiving's like that.
That's
So
a real answer.
that's objectively a bad list.
Hey, blame it on the surveyors. All right, Ricky, 1X on the board. Number 1 and number 3 answer gone. Watch / play football and eat. Can you name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving?
See, after you fill your belly up, you get such thing called the itis. the nigga-itis. You sleep.
Is that on the list?
So
Is
sleep.
that's what puts me to sleep?
It's the itis.
I thought I had the sniffles coming, and it was the itis.
It was the
and
itis.
it put me to sleep. You were right.
What?
That's on the list.
What?
So going to Wilbur. Wilbur, you got only 2 left on the board. Can you name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving?
What 3 were said? I already forget.
Watch or play football, eat, and sleep.
Drink.
It's a good one. That made it on the list last year, but not on the
I
list.
hate these people.
Ricky's face.
I honestly, I hate these people.
2 X's. Ricky, can you keep your team alive? Can you name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving?
See, it's
I
time
thought
for
he
when
just
family
left.
comes together, right? So I'm gonna say, watch a movie.
I love it. I love where your heart's at.
It's wrong. If he starts it off with that, it's wrong. That's a good guess. Wrong.
Wow, I wish
All right.
I'd.
It goes to David, right? David?
That's me. Yeah, no.
All right. David, if you can get one of them on the list, you get to stay. You steal the points.
I steal the point.
Name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving.
Travel.
Ooh.
And Wilbur and Ricky keep the point. All right, let's go through
What were the
list.
others?
This is goofy. Last one was an interesting one, but I think studio may appreciate it. All right, name a popular activity people do on Thanksgiving. Number 1 answer was watch or play football. Second answer was watch the parade. Thirdly, eat. Fourth, sleep. And the 5th answer, which you'd be surprised how many people put this,
Right.
burn the greenery. We'll just put it like that.
What?
Okay.
Wow.
Burning some shrubs.
Wow.
Was that
Oh.
vitamins?
I guess I'd make the list with that many.
Listen, I'm
The-
always hesitant.
Hey, everybody goes on a
Yeah,
walk during
that's-
Thanksgiving, though,
That's
right?
exactly
Right,
that's
it's
how
true.
many people go
Go
on
for
a
it.
walk
Go
with
for
all
it.
the leave emojis. Dude,
Yeah.
I try to avoid this like topic, the admission on the show.
Mhm.
But the truth is, there were so many people that put this. It was like, I can't ignore it.
Bro, we all
Wait,
consuming the vitamins, dog. Chill.
Consuming the vitamins. All right. Ricky, you guys are slowly taking the lead. David, you got to deliver on this round if you have a chance of keeping yourself alive and maybe winning one Rethink Tank battle.
Is it back to buzzer?
It's you two here in the studio, right? Or did we just do that?
No, it should be Ricky.
Yeah, it's
All right,
Ricky and
Ricky
Silent.
and Silent. My apologies. Ricky, Silent. W's in the chat. First one to get it in. What company is best known for Black Friday deals?
That would be Ricky, sir.
Ricky, what do you got?
Macy's. Best colognes, all top notch, gifts, everything. Macy's.
Is this a
Wait, but Macy's does the Thanksgiving parade, so I'm really
But do they
surprised.
do Black Friday deals? That's the inquiry.
True.
What company is best known for Black Friday deals? Silent. Can you peg the board?
Amazon?
He nailed it with the number 3 answer. David and Silent, do you want to play or
Wait,
pass?
Macy's wasn't on it at all?
Let's play.
They're playing.
We're playing it.
There's only 3 answers on the board. You have the
Oh.
number 3 answer gone.
Gone.
We're looking for number 1 and number 2. David, what company is best known for Black Friday deals?
Best Buy.
Best Buy is the number 2 answer. You guys are whittling it down.
Good one.
Circling the number 1 answer. Silent. Can you keep the momentum? What company, number 1 answer, is best known for Black Friday deals?
Walmart?
They did the sweep. Walmart, Best Buy, and Amazon. Now we got a competition. Can David leave this studio not a loser for once?
Ricky, you're
That'd be
muted.
Cool. I'd support him if he could. All right. This is the big tiebreaker. All right.
Great.
It's just between you two. This is the tiebreaker. We're not playing the full round. First one to hit the attempt, the person with the highest ranked answer takes the dub. Again, don't hit the button until I finish asking. Name a tribe native to America. Will.
Yeah, you got it.
Cherokee.
Cherokee, you have a chance at stealing it. That was the number 2 answer out of 5.
Name your engine.
Would you like to phone your teammate?
For all the marbles.
I think this was the only one I commented on. Like, if the only one, I was like Cleveland.
The Navajo?
That was the number 4 answer.
Oh, can I guess? Can I guess what number 1 is? Hang on. The Mohicans.
Didn't even make the list.
Oh, you were the last of them.
Mohicans.
Nah, number 1 answer was Chippewa. Number 2 was Cherokee. Number 3, Apache. 4 was Navajo. And 5 was the Iroquois. Well, David leaves this place a loser once again.
Some
Defeated.
things never change.
Undefeated and defeated.
So, guys, I appreciate this was a late one, and I appreciate everybody that hung on till the end. That's what makes this all fun. Going into the comments and bringing another aspect and dynamic to the dialogue is exactly what we're here for. Hey, real quick, bring in Ricky and Silent before I totally close it out. Ricky, Silent, tell them where you can find them or where they can find you.
To the people of the world, man, just another day TV. I have one more show until I'm out of the country. So, we're going to be on the road. And W's in the chat. W's in the chat. David, I will miss you, Brody.
We'll miss you too. And your humor.
And we will want you inside at some point. Silent.
My nigga, David. My nigga.
Kick.com/Silent Destroyer. We're live every single day.
I love it. I love it. So, guys, thank you again for joining us. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m., but we also got our Sunday shows. Will and I do the Sunday football review with Doug. Doug and I, before that, have the Rethink Actions.
Hey,
little palate
Alex.
cleanser. Yeah, Ricky, what's up?
Can I get speech? David, speech. Pharaoh,
give us
speech,
a
David.
speech before you leave.
Oh,
Before I
okay.
speak.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take the floor here. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor debating and, getting our political musings or pop culture musings. All the people on Instagram that think I am of a political orientation because of something I repeat or post on Instagram for you. Woo! There's been a couple, and I don't know what annoys me more: people who think I'm very liberal for posting this, or people who I think I'm very conservative for posting it. I don't know which annoys me more, and they all want to talk to me about it.
Win in the moderate.
I can't win in the moderate position, but damn it, do I try? Damn it, do I try? Doug, you've been a great producer. You've been, we had some trials and tribulations first couple times you're out here, but I think you've got her nailed down. I think you're in good hands here, Alex. There is, for all the people there at the Rethink Tank, thank you. Thank you for giving me a platform to spout things off like I've never had before. Oh, just a splash.
Mine has a Trump bullet in it, so it's different. Mine's better. All right. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Ricky, cheers to you and everyone else with the Rethink Tank. Silent to the gang. Wilbur.
W speech.
Nice.
So
W
again,
speech.
when this dude signed up to do this project in September of 23, we were at 118 subscribers on YouTube. We have exceeded that literally tenfold, and the growth continues, and we owe that all to you guys. Everybody that engages with us on a weekly basis, for everybody that understands, you may not agree, but we're coming from a place of growth, and there's virtue to be found in these difficult conversations we have. I love the point of what you highlight, which is people are putting you in a box, and the way you internalize it is how far off they are from the real you. And to me, that's a reflection of our society where we're at. We put people in boxes, we write them off, and we conclude about their entire character based on surface level things that really have no bearing or merit. And hopefully this project becomes that medium that can bridge that gap. But I think we're always going to be fighting that projection of what they think we are versus who we really are. So hopefully, when we want to prop up the other greats of the Rethink Tank, we can bring you in to lose, kind of like, You're kind of like the Bronny Jr. You make the rest of the team look better. So we're just going to bring you when you can. Come back in to make the rest of us look good. But no, seriously, dude, thank you for your time. It's been nothing but a pleasure. And I hope this isn't the end of the road, but for more to come. So, guys, you can find all of our future content, the different shows across the different platforms. You can find it in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. But again, guys, thank you for your time. And we'll catch you next week without David. Peace. Yo, you got to end the stream. This is like the last time. Just like that. How